Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobooks. Pirates Max Level System. Chapter 61, Killed with a Slap. This light spot shows that it is in the bathroom. As you can imagine, there must be some indescribable scenes inside. System, can I go there instantly now? Having made up his mind, Qin Luo asked. Yes, you can enter by yourself as long as you click on the light spot. However, you can only act alone and cannot bring the girl with you. What? Can't you take her in with you? Qin Luo opened his eyes slightly in surprise and asked, why not? Because only you have this special privilege of instantly traveling through space. No one else can. This should be considered a system-setting problem. After understanding it, Qin Luo gave up the plan to go to that light spot. Come on. I'll take you down. Qin Luo grabbed Peach Rabbit with one hand and dived into the sea with her. At this moment, the sea water seemed to have a spirit. Before it touched Peach Rabbit, it was completely pushed aside, leaving some space for Peach Rabbit, and there was enough air in this space. This strange action was created for Dao Tuo by Qin Luo by directly using the special rights of the full-level overlord of the sea. How magical! Dao Tuo opened her tightly closed eyes and was immediately surprised. This was her first time entering the waters under the Sabayati archipelago. The huge sea kings swam past Qin Luo, but none of them dared to come up and provoke him. On the contrary, these sea kings made particularly intimate gestures, just like pets vying for favor and trying to please their owner. Dao Tuo didn't know if this was an illusion, but she was very surprised. Qin Luo entered the sea and did not become extremely weak like those people who had eaten the devil fruit. Dao Tuo, on the contrary, thought that Qin Luo became full of energy and vigor as soon as he entered the sea, like a fish in water. You are such a monster. Finally, Dao Tuo made this comment. Qin Luo also smiled indifferently and headed towards the deep sea. After about a minute, they arrived at a place 10,000 meters deep in the sea. Qin Luo found an underwater island with ease. The island is floating in the air, and a huge double-layer bubble film shield surrounds the entire island. From a distance, it looks like a dream world. In the center of the huge bubble membrane, there is a circular opening, which is the entry and exit passage. Is this Fishman Island? It's so beautiful. Dao Tuo looked fascinated and longed for Fishman Island. However, there were no soldiers guarding the entrance at this moment, which made Qin Luo a little surprised. After swimming over, we saw the Dragon Palace Castle above the Fishman Island. This is the residence of King Neptune. There are the sun, air, and clouds in Fishman Island. The bottom is the ocean, the middle is the land, and above it is the sky. Above the sky is Ryugu Castle. At this moment, the spiral door was also blown to pieces, and the passage was open with no guards. Strange, this shouldn't be the case. Qin Luo is familiar with Fishman Island. King Neptune has always strictly controlled Fishman Island for fear of being harmed. Enter the spiral gate and arrive directly at Dragon Palace City. The Dragon Palace City was in a mess, as if it had been the scene of a melee. The ground was stained bright red and corpses were lying all over the place. Mermaids, mermen, and human corpses mixed together, like hell on earth. What's the situation? Dao Tuo opened her eyes wide and breathed rapidly. It must be a riot. Let's go check it out. No wonder I didn't see anyone when I came in just now. Under Qin Luo's leadership, Dao Tuo and Qin Luo rushed into the Dragon King's palace. The palace was in chaos, and the original prosperity and luxury were no longer there. And in the palace, there were countless mermaids and mermen holding weapons, with solemn and gloomy faces. What happened? Qin Luo walked over in a daze, and slowly saw that in front of these soldiers, there was a group of humans standing there. They were holding weapons and were all arrogant and domineering. The human in the lead had several scars on his face, and looked extremely ferocious. Also, they have spiders carved on their arms. Neptune. I'll take the throne of the king. From now on, you dead mermaid, just pack up and get out. The Dragon Palace Castle and Fishman Island belong to our spider pirates. The man was extremely ferocious and said to Neptune, who was tied up tightly. Me? I can't give you Fishman Island. These are my people. You talk so much nonsense. The captain of the spider pirates slapped Neptune in the face. His small body burst out with amazing strength. With one slap, he made Neptune spit blood from his mouth. You rubbish! If you dare to resist again, I'll kill you. King! Let go of the king. I'll agree to any conditions you ask. Seeing Neptune being abused, the people and soldiers of Fishman Island were furious and wanted to resist with gritted teeth. But their king is in the hands of others, and there is nothing they can do. Let him go? All of you, kneel down. Otherwise I will kill him. The captain of the spider pirates, Kuka, threatened with a fierce look in his eyes. Kneel down, you bastard! Suddenly, a shrill voice reached the ears of the captain of the spider pirates. Who is being so presumptuous? Come out here. I'll slap you to death. Hee hee. Qin Luo chuckled, then casually pushed the soldiers aside and walked in. You? How dare you laugh at me? I am a pirate worth 200 million Belial. Even Whitebeard has to be polite to me. Who do you think you are? Kuka gritted his teeth and cursed arrogantly. First of all, could you please stop insulting the term big pirate? A mere 200 million and you're a big pirate? I'm so big you're paralyzed. Even Whitebeard has to be polite to you. You're blowing your own trumpet to the sky. Let me ask you, do you still have any shame? Captain! Kill him! He's so damn arrogant. That's right. Kill him for going against the captain. A mere pirate is so arrogant. Smash him into a pulp. How dare you talk back to me? I'll beat you to death. Kuka was furious when he heard this, and his big hands reached out to grab Qin Luo. This man's ability was similar to Luffy's rubber fruit ability, and his arms could actually extend infinitely. Qin Luo raised his head, blinked his eyes, and raised his hand lightly. The physical body has reached the maximum level, and it has undergone a huge transformation. Boom! Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Qin Luo's right arm suddenly rose rapidly. In a short period of time, the radius was 10 meters, covering the sky and the sun. A slap in the face. Look, I'm here to beat you into a pulp. Qin Luo waved his arm lightly, and the huge palm came down like a huge mountain with a bang. The entire spider pirates were destroyed. Kill an entire pirate group with one slap. Chapter 62 Two Conditions. Hiss! Everyone in Dragon Palace City gasped. The whole place was silent. People stood there dumbfounded, staring with wide eyes at the astonishing figure in the hall. Qin Luo slapped all the members of the spider pirates to death, just as easily as crushing an ant. Everyone was speechless with shock. A minute later, everyone was still in shock. But at this moment, Qin Luo had already retracted his hand lightly and called a basin of water to wash his hands. Killed all members of the spider pirates with one slap. The captain of the spider pirates couldn't believe it before he died. He had always been proud of his physical strength. Who would have thought that he would be so vulnerable in front of Qin Luo? With the ability of his fruit, he couldn't even withstand a slap. Before he died, his eyes were filled with fear. After the hand was retracted, a huge mark of several dozen meters in size appeared above the hall, and it was 5 meters deep. Inside the pit, all the members of the spider pirates were beaten into a pulp, bleeding profusely. The scene was extremely shocking. What did I see? The entire spider pirates were wiped out with one slap. A fishman stammered. What a powerful human! Why could such a powerful spider pirates be crushed by one person so strangely? Another soldier couldn't believe it, his eyes wide open in amazement, his legs weak with fear. Wow! He's so handsome! He knocked down the entire pirate group with just one slap. That's truly domineering. What should I do? My girlish heart is overflowing again. The other beautiful mermaids were secretly observing Qin Luo in the corner, their beautiful eyes full of surprise and shyness. For a moment, Qin Luo became the focus of everyone's attention, from obscurity to a blockbuster. Qin Luo only took 1 second and just one slap. Besides shock and worship, their eyes also revealed deep fear and vigilance. Such a powerful person appeared in Ryugu Castle and wiped out an entire pirate group with a single blow. This kind of strength is enough to destroy their entire Fishman Island. Is this person's arrival a blessing or a curse? All the civilian soldiers on Fishman Island are on high alert, with fierce looks in their eyes. You don't have to look at me like that. On Fishman Island, I'm only interested in my darlings, not your lives. You can still live freely on Fishman Island, and I won't interfere with your private affairs. Qin Luo raised his hand lazily and answered slowly. These words echoed in everyone's ears like a king's command. There was a moment of strange silence at the scene, and then it erupted into enthusiastic cheers. Ouch! Suddenly, the whole audience exclaimed, and countless mermaids, murlocs, and soldiers jumped up excitedly, their faces filled with excitement. Everyone cheered and danced enthusiastically, as if nothing had happened just now. Money can be earned back, but if one loses life, dignity, or even territory, it will be the end of the lives of the mermaids and fishmen. So, Qin Luo's conditions are not harsh at all. After hearing Qin Luo's answer, King Neptune was overjoyed and shouted to the soldiers around him, "Let me go! Don't rush to celebrate! Let me go!" Neptune roared loudly, even becoming furious at the end, but his voice was drowned out by the enthusiastic cheers. But a great king was completely forgotten by them. Our hero! Hero! Wow! Hero! Here I come! Don't fight with me! Be careful or I'll kill you with my fart! Just like that, the whole place was in an uproar. Countless young and beautiful mermaids swam to Qin Luo's side. Dozens of them, and Qin Luo was directly lifted up by the young and beautiful mermaids and thrown high into the sky under the jealous gazes of many male mermaids. Hero! Our hero! Wow! So soft! Wow! So soft! Wow! So happy! In this way, Qin Luo fell among countless charming flowers. Peach Rabbit was pushed outside and couldn't stop laughing. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but she suddenly felt that Qin Luo was not as bad as she thought. Bah! Rogue! How can you not be bad? Dao Tu didn't know if she had fallen, her mind was full of random thoughts, and she finally cursed, but the meaning had changed drastically. After about 10 minutes, Qin Luo was finally put down by those young and beautiful mermaids, and Qin Luo also looked satisfied. I don't know how many women were attacked, but it doesn't matter anymore. Neptune, the most honorable king of Fishman Island, fainted in the toilet from crying. He was tied up for more than 10 minutes before anyone noticed him. Finally, he hurriedly untied the king. Standing in place, a path quickly cleared ahead, and Neptune also passed through the crowd and came to Qin Luo. "Sir, thank you for saving my life. I, Neptune, can never repay you." Neptune stood before him. He was huge and looked like a coelacanth mermaid. "No need to waste time, I only have 2 requests." "Sir, please speak." "First, I need the treasure you've accumulated over the years." "No problem." Neptune nodded in agreement. As long as he doesn't harm civilians, he will let Qin Luo make conditions. If he refuses Qin Luo, if Qin Luo destroys their Fishman Island with a slap, Neptune can't bear such a sinner. Secondly, I need the sap from the sun tree Eve here. Tree sap? Neptune frowned in thought. The sap of this yang tree is the raw material for processing the desserts on his Fishman Island. If it is processed normally, it can usually sell for nearly 1 billion baileys a year. However, this raw material for making a fortune has to be given to Qin Luo, which makes Neptune unacceptable. Because all the money from selling desserts must be used to maintain the lives of the civilians of Fishman Island. This is one of the main sources of income for Fishman Island. If all of it is given to Qin Luo, all of their people will not be able to make a living. "Sir, this sap cannot be given to you." "Why?" Qin Luo originally thought that Neptune would agree readily, but who would have thought that he would actually refuse? "Sir, this sap of the yang tree is one of the ingredients for our Fishman Island desserts. If we give it all to you, we won't be able to produce desserts. This will cut off our main source of income, and all the people of Fishman Island will have a hard time surviving." "Is that so?" Qin Luo frowned when he heard this, touched his chin with his fingers, and began to think. This is indeed a big problem. If Qin Luo takes the sap, all the people of Fishman Island will face extinction. Although he will benefit alone, it is too selfish. How about this, half? I take half of the sap of the yang tree. What do you think? Qin Luo thought for a moment and chose a compromise. "We give out red envelopes during the holidays. Everyone is welcome to come in. Let's discuss the plot together. There are also beautiful women." Chapter 63, The Patron Saint of Fishman Island. "How about this, half? I take half of the sap of the yang tree. What do you think?" Qin Luo thought for a moment and chose a compromise. If all of them are taken away, it will inevitably cause turmoil in the entire Fishman Island. In the end, Qin Luo suppressed it and killed everything here. Qin Luo has this ability. However, he has no grudges against the people of Fishman Island and will never kill them. This is Qin Luo's principle. "Okay. As long as you can stay for half a year, we can maintain a normal life on Fishman Island." Neptune readily agreed, and for a moment, the atmosphere was happy again. What kind of energy is the light source of this yang tree? The juice flowing from the yang tree is also a mysterious energy. This mysterious energy can be exchanged for points. Qin Luo even thought of exchanging money for this tree juice. This is equivalent to buying an alternative devil fruit. But Qin Luo was not willing to pay such money. He was thinking of a way to let the people of Fishman Island make money. In this case, all the sap of the yang tree would belong to him. Making money on Fishman Island is completely a closed-door policy, so he must let the people of Fishman Island go out to the outside world to do business. In this way, Fishman Island will have an economic source, and Qin Luo can enjoy the tree sap alone. The only problem is that the mer people are ostracized by the whole world. Pirates capture mermaids to sell them, and the mer people are also hated by the world. It can be said that the people of Fishman Island, except for their freedom in their own territory, will become the target of public criticism if they leave the seabed. This problem must be solved. Let all the people of Fishman Island be treated fairly. Qin Luo looked thoughtful, as if he had thought of a solution. Sir, we can definitely fulfill our promise. But I have a favor to ask of you. Neptune hesitated, but still spoke. What's the matter? Please protect my Fishman Island. My Fishman Island has been subjected to extremely tragic abuse for a long time. The people of the world government captured our fishmen and used them as slaves. Countless mermaid companions were tortured to death by those beasts. Moreover, countless pirates make a living by kidnapping my people. So far, thousands of our compatriots from Fishman Island have been kidnapped and sold all over the world. Do my people need to be abused like this since they were born? Please, sir, save our Fishman Island. Neptune has spent a very long time in the darkness, and finally a savior has come. He really doesn't want to hesitate any longer. Watching Neptune's tearful story, Qin Luo couldn't help but be moved. Meanwhile, Daotu, who was standing by, was already in tears and begged Qin Luo, "Hey, Salanger, just agree to his request. I didn't expect that the people of Fishman Island live in such misery." Daotu has never experienced any hardships, and her heart is still very pure. She can't imagine the dangers of this world at all. This was the first time I encountered such a situation, and my girlish feelings couldn't help but overflow. Qin Luo did not respond to Daotu's request. Instead, he looked at Neptune calmly and said, "You mean you want me to protect your Fishman Island? To intimidate other pirates?" "Yes. Sir. Please protect our Fishman Island." As Neptune spoke, he knelt down in front of Qin Luo. Even when he knelt down, King Neptune was too tall and still looked down at Qin Luo. "Sir, please protect our Fishman Island. Please, sir. Protect us. Sir. Please. Handsome guy. Please." Regardless of gender, age, mermaids, or fishmen, they all knelt in front of Qin Luo at this moment, their eyes full of expectation. There were even some young and beautiful mermaids begging pitifully. This made it difficult for Qin Luo to refuse. "Yes, I can protect Fishman Island and not interfere in your private affairs. However, you must pay me the sun tree sap on time. Moreover, if I find a way for you to make money in the future, all the sap from the sun tree must belong to me." Qin Luo was thinking about the tree sap all the time. These tree sap are all energy. It's all points. With such an opportunity, Qin Luo definitely doesn't want to miss it. It is good. Neptune agreed without even thinking. We have a patron saint on Fishman Island. Ha ha ha. Let's see if those pirate groups dare to capture our companions. At this moment, a little mermaid swam shyly to Qin Luo, and kissed Qin Luo on the face with a kiss. Her well-behaved and cute look almost melted Qin Luo. This is definitely a cute little loli. Of course, Qin Luo had no bad intentions. "Thank you, big brother. From now on, as long as you are around, if anyone dares to catch me, I will find you." The little loli blinked and said with a smile. "Yeah, no problem." Qin Luo didn't act pretentiously and gently pinched the little mermaid. Now that Fishman Island was protected, Qin Luo stopped talking nonsense. Neptune also ordered the soldiers to clean up the Dragon Palace city neatly and repair the rotten places thoroughly. After an afternoon, the Dragon Palace city was completely renewed and restored to its original appearance. Inside the Dragon Palace, a party feast was held. Countless beautiful young mermaids showed off their amazing dancing skills, which dazzled Qin Luo. Some mermaids even teased him from time to time, but Qin Luo acted like a gentleman, appearing unmoved on the outside, but in fact, he was extremely excited inside. After the dance, several soldiers came in carrying boxes and placed the things on the ground. "Sir, these are the treasures accumulated by my Fishman Island. They were all moved from the national treasury. Please count them." Qin Luo waved his hand and casually opened a box. Inside was shining with gold and countless jewels. Then, Qin Luo used gravity to collect all the treasures. What an amazing ability! Seeing this scene, countless mermaids exclaimed. "Where is the sap of the yang tree?" Qin Luo actually didn't want to wait any longer. He wanted to absorb the sap. This was something he had been thinking about all the time. The sooner he got it, the more at ease he would feel. Just as Qin Luo finished speaking, many soldiers carried in bucket-like things, hundreds of them in total. "Sir, this is filled with sap from the yang tree. We've collected it. This is enough for a year. Please take it first." Ding ding, what energy has been detected? Should we collect it? At this moment, the system began to prompt Qin Luo. Chapter 64, How much is the reward for Mr. Ding ding, mysterious energy detected, should we collect it? At this moment, the system began to prompt Qin Luo. Needless to say, this mysterious energy must be the sap of the yang tree. In response to this, Qin Luo said with curiosity, "Collect." Ding, first bucket, collected successfully, points earned, 100. 100 points per bucket. Qin Luo made a rough estimate and found that one bucket of tree sap could actually be exchanged for 100 points. Ding, second bucket, collected successfully, points earned, 98 points. Ding, the third bucket, collected successfully, points earned, 108. Beep, the 108th barrel. Qin Luo looked at the non-standard number and thought to himself, the quantity of each bucket is uncertain, so there is a difference in the number of points, but generally speaking, one bucket will be exchanged for 100 points. Then, Qin Luo looked up at the total points, which was 11,000 points. Such a huge number really surprised Qin Luo. With just a little trick, he could get points for a long time. It was like there would be a money-giving boy like Roger giving Qin Luo points every year. This is a long-term plan, that is to say, Qin Luo can receive more than 10,000 points every year. If he finds a business opportunity to make money on Fishman Island, Qin Luo can take all the tree sap, and then the points will probably double. More than 20,000 points a year. This is simply terrifying and outrageous. Qin Luo now has 11,000 points, but this amount of points is not enough to redeem the full level in one go. As the number of redemptions increases, the points required also doubles. Last time I redeemed my physical body for the maximum level, I used around 7,200 points. This time, I'll need double that, around 14,400. And I'm still over 3,000 points away from reaching the maximum level again. Almost. Qin Luo murmured in his heart, and after collecting the sap, the anxious feeling disappeared without a trace. In a flash, all the barrels of tree sap in the hall were absorbed by Qin Luo, but the king and ministers of Fishman Island did not notice it at all. "Move these barrels down." Qin Luo spoke softly to the soldiers in the hall. "Sir, why? Didn't you say you wanted the sap of the yang tree? Now the sap is in front of you, why don't you take it? Could it be that you don't want to protect our Fishman Island anymore?" Neptune's heart skipped a beat and his expression changed in shock. This treasure was right in front of Qin Luo, but he didn't want it. It was very likely that after careful consideration, he felt that protecting Fishman Island would bring him disaster, so he backed down. This is a huge loss for Fishman Island. Even in the future, Fishman Island will be in dire straits again. Seeing Qin Luo's hesitation, Neptune became more certain of what he was thinking. He quickly stood up and said in a panic, "Sir, in this way, our Fishman Island will give you an extra 10% of the sun tree sap every year. Please bless our Fishman Island." The sudden change made everyone present hold their breath, and all their eyes were focused on Qin Luo. Looking at King Neptune's anxious expression, Qin Luo smiled bitterly. He just wanted to order people to move these empty barrels down. Why did the king feel that he was changing his mind when he heard this? Moreover, looking at King Neptune's anxious expression, it was obvious that he had thought as he thought. "It's not that I don't want to protect you. But these barrels are empty and useless to me, so I ordered people to move them out." Qin Luo explained leisurely. I was scared to death. So that's how it is. King Neptune breathed a sigh of relief when he heard this, and his tense nerves relaxed again. Take these barrels down. King Neptune stood up and ordered the soldiers. Soon, hundreds of soldiers came in an orderly manner and lifted the barrels. Originally, they had to carry one bucket in pairs, and it was extremely strenuous. Some soldiers even planned to work harder. When they lifted the bucket, they suddenly felt that the quality of the bucket was completely different from before. Hey? Why is it so light? Yeah, it really is a lot lighter, like I'm not wearing anything. Is it impossible? I saw the bucket with my own eyes just now. It was so heavy when it was carried here, but in the blink of an eye, it became so light. Am I feeling wrong? This bucket is so light. The soldiers had a heated discussion and were all stunned. Finally, they set their sights on Qin Luo, with deep admiration and worship for this mysterious man. It must be Sir. It must be him. Amazing. What kind of skill is this? He can suck up everything in the bucket right under people's noses. Who cares what his abilities are? He's just very strong. I adore him so much. I want to bear his children. Stop being such a nympho. How can a man give birth? With the way you're rubbing your cunt, the gentleman will come to you. If he has to, he'll come to me. You two are crazy, sir, I'm not gay. The soldiers spoke in a low voice, but everyone present could hear it clearly, and King Neptune also caught it clearly. His old face suddenly turned red and he coughed a few times in embarrassment. The soldiers realized their outrageous behavior and shut up and carried the barrels out, each carrying 2. I'm sorry, sir. My men don't know the rules. If there is any offense. King Neptune explained with an embarrassed look on his face. No problem. Qin Luo waved his hand, indicating that he didn't care, and then he said with interest, Neptune, you said you could give me an extra 10% of the sap of the sun tree, are you changing your mind now? Qin Luo did not forget the conditions that Neptune put forward when he was in a panic just now. Seeing Qin Luo asking, Neptune's face twitched and he said, since I have already promised, I will not break my promise. Sir, I will give you an extra 10% every year. Great. That's great. I like straightforward people like you. Soon, King Neptune brought up another 10% of the yang tree sap that he had promised to give to Qin Luo. Qin Luo absorbed 20 barrels without hesitation, and his points rose to 13,000. He was once again close to reaching the maximum level. Sir! I wonder what we can use to intimidate those pirates. So that they won't dare to offend our Fishman Island again. King Neptune thought, this is a very critical issue. Although Qin Luo is protecting them, there will still be some pirates who are desperate to come in and capture them. Without powerful deterrent measures, it would be difficult to scare those people. This? I haven't thought about it yet. Qin Luo thought about it and answered. How much is the reward for that gentleman? King Neptune asked presumptuously. Bounty? Now? Qin Luo looked at King Neptune and asked. Exactly. I guess, maybe, it's still probably 0, but soon. It won't be. Chapter 65, To Warn the World. I guess, maybe, it's still 0, but soon. It won't be any more. Qin Luo hesitated. If he talked about his bounty, it would definitely not be low, but the bounty list has not come out yet, and Qin Luo's bounty is indeed 0 at the moment. How much the bounty will be depends entirely on how much the Navy headquarters will offer when they put him on the wanted list. 0? Sir is so powerful? How could it be 0? King Neptune looked at Qin Luo in surprise. The price of the bounty is linked to one's own strength. Originally, Neptune wanted to ask about Qin Luo's bounty price to estimate his strength. Who knew that it would be 0? King Neptune knew that even a small pirate would have a bounty, but how could he not be surprised that such a powerful person had a bounty of 0? There was something strange about this matter. Well, I used to be a very low-key person. I originally planned to live a low-key life, but who knew that some short-sighted guys would always cause trouble for me? In the end, I had no choice but to be high-profile, and the bounty is only a matter of time. Qin Luo said seriously. Well, sir, what is your preliminary estimate of the reward? King Neptune lowered his head and asked presumptuously. Qin Luo stretched out his right hand and waved it in front of King Neptune. 50 million Baileys. King Neptune's brain suddenly short-circuited and he said a scary number. Puff. Qin Luo was caught off guard and spat out a mouthful of tea. Sometimes, Qin Luo wondered if the king was stupid. A man with a bounty of 50 million berries could kill a pirate with a bounty of 200 million with just one slap. Are you kidding me? Seeing Qin Luo's attitude, King Neptune's old face suddenly turned red and said, No, no. It's not 50 million. With your strength, you can destroy a pirate group with just a slap. How can it be 50 million? Then, could it be 500 million? King Neptune guessed in shock. What? A 500 million bounty? Oh my god! 500 million? 500 million is already considered a big pirate, right? Bah! Big pirate? This is a big pirate, okay. Oh my god! Sir, your strength must be comparable to those of Roger, Whitebeard, and Shiki. Amazing! With a 500 million bounty on our head protecting us. Who would dare to run wild on Fishman Island? Even the Marine headquarters wouldn't want to provoke them so easily, right? After he finished speaking, the venue suddenly cheered. 500 million, this is an astonishing number. Moreover, this is just the first estimate of the bounty amount by Qin Luo, and it may be even more intense in the future. It is not impossible to even catch up with Whitebeard and Roger's bounty. 500 million. King Neptune was shocked, his face full of surprise. From now on, Fishman Island, please protect us, sir. You are the great benefactor of our Fishman Island. You are a god. King Neptune put aside his dignity and begged Qin Luo desperately. Qin Luo did not feel Neptune's servile and lowly attitude. On the contrary, Qin Luo admired this kind of person. He was not doing things for himself, but for the people. He was a wise ruler. Yet, Qin Luo nodded calmly, which made King Neptune feel confident. So, sir, which pirate group are you from? Neptune asked again. There was no other way. As a king, he had to be cautious in his words and actions and could not take huge risks. Although he had Qin Luo's protection, he was still worried. It's not that he is worried about Qin Luo, but he is worried that other pirate groups who are willing to sacrifice their lives will continue to come to Fishman Island and cause trouble. If the pirate group Qin Luo belongs to is an extremely famous pirate group, then the deterrent effect will be terrifying. If Whitebeard protected Fishman Island, those other small pirate groups would definitely not dare to cause trouble. Qin Luo's mind turned over and over, and he immediately understood the meaning of Neptune's words. Then he said, Pirate group? I am alone now and have not formed a pirate group, but since you asked, let's form a pirate group. Hearing Qin Luo say that there was no pirate group, Neptune couldn't help but feel a little disappointed, but in a flash, he concealed this disappointment. Since you have chosen the gentleman, then trust him. Neptune seemed to have made a major decision. He threw away all the temptations he had planned and put the safety of Fishman Island on Qin Luo. This requires great courage, but fortunately, Neptune made the right bet. Sir, have you thought of a name for the pirate group you want to establish? Do you have any subordinates you plan to recruit? Have you thought of a logo for the pirate group? The name of the pirate group? I haven't decided on one yet. Then please choose a name, sir. I'll help you build a pirate ship. Neptune was like a housekeeper, worrying about Qin Luo. Reminded by Neptune, Qin Luo suddenly fell into deep thought. Let's call the pirate group the Liu Yun Pirate Group. As for the icon, wait, I'll draw one for you. After Qin Luo finished speaking, he got paper and pen from somewhere and began to draw seriously. Finally, an icon was drawn. A cloud, its edges outlined with white stripes and its interior painted red. It looks quite beautiful from a distance. This icon is exactly the red cloud icon on the clothes worn by the members of the Akatsuki organization in the Naruto world. The cloud pattern makes the bright red color extremely dazzling. Clouds originally represent peace and tranquility, but when they turn red, they represent brutality, bloodiness, and aggression brought to this peace. Red represents blood. And this red cloud symbol is the most suitable for Qin Luo's plan to overthrow the world government. Only with strong strength can you have absolute right to speak. Qin Luo does not intend to use a conciliatory policy, but to slaughter all those evil forces. Give people a ray of light. Therefore, this red cloud icon is very suitable for Qin Luo's idea. Afterwards, Qin Luo drew another set of clothes, embroidered a few red clouds on them, and painted them. Except for the red clouds and the cloud texture, the rest is all dyed black. It is the red cloud clothes worn by the members of the Akatsuki organization in the Naruto world. Prepare a few sets of clothes like this according to my drawing. Also, make the icons for me according to the paper. I need them. After Qin Luo finished the painting, he handed it to Neptune, and then drank the wine leisurely. Afterwards, the banquet ended, and Dao Tu had been with Qin Luo for a whole day, exhausted both physically and mentally, so she simply found a room in the palace to sleep in. For Qin Luo, it was impossible for Dao Tu to escape. So I don't bother to pay attention to Dao Tu. He walked into a room and fell asleep. The next day, King Neptune hurried to Qin Luo's door and began to wait. Crunch! The door opened and a faint voice was heard. Come in. Neptune was surprised at Qin Luo's strong perception and walked in directly. Sir, these are the clothes and icons you want. King Neptune presented them respectfully with both hands, as if Qin Luo was the king here. Not bad. Seeing the clothes and icons, which were exactly the same as those in the Naruto world, Qin Luo couldn't help but praise them. Well, sir, we have all these things. Except for the time it will take to build the ship, everything has been arranged for you. Yet. Qin Luo nodded to show that he understood. Sir, I wonder what you plan to do with this clothes and icon. Neptune asked curiously. Warn the world. Fishman Island is under my protection. Chapter 66, A $1 billion Bounty. Warn the world. Fishman Island is under my protection. Qin Luo said this in a casual manner, and then put on the red cloud robe. A solemn and indifferent aura immediately surrounded Qin Luo, and even King Neptune was frightened and stepped back. With messy hair hanging on both sides, Qin Luo's serious face looks extremely cool. He didn't say anything, but an invisible aura of arrogance emerged from Qin Luo. This red cloud robe definitely plays a big role. The red clouds represent blood, and the black clothes represent the use of bloody, dark, and brutal means to overthrow this government. It can be said that this dress is the best proof of Qin Luo's will. Wow! So handsome! Dao Tu instantly turned into a little fangirl, blinked her beautiful eyes, clenched her pink fists, and said in surprise. Have you just discovered that I'm handsome? Qin Luo glanced at Dao Tu indifferently with a calm tone. In an instant, Peach Rabbit was captured. Neptune, place this red cloud symbol in a prominent place on your Fishman Island. From now on, no pirates will dare to provoke us. Qin Luo said calmly. Yes. Sir. Neptune didn't dare to be presumptuous at all. For some reason, Qin Luo always had an invisible domineering aura. As long as Neptune looked at Qin Luo, Neptune was always intimidated by Qin Luo's momentum. He didn't dare to say anything more. Come on, I'll take you to see the world. Qin Luo called out, and regardless of whether Dao Tu was willing or not, he forcibly controlled her and walked towards the outside of Longgong City. Where are you taking me? For the first time, Dao Tu did not call Qin Luo a pervert, and the girl's tone was also a lot shy, which made Qin Luo a little uncomfortable. I'll take you to the Holy Land and show you what those rubbish people protected by the world government are doing. You'll naturally have justice in your heart. Qin Luo wanted to transform himself into a professional brainwasher and brainwash this girl once, breaking her original thoughts and making her understand the dark side of this world completely. Holy Land? You mean the Holy Land of Mary Gosa? Where the celestial dragons live? Exactly. Qin Luo nodded, then used the full-level overlord of the sea to control the water flow, and rushed upwards with Dao Tu. At the same time, Marine Headquarters, Marine Vondo. Inside the Marshal's house. Steelbone Sora's face was filled with anger. What are you doing here? The M-shaped beard on Kong's chin was shaking with anger, and he angrily cursed at all the vice-admirals in the office. Sakazuki was captured. Borsellino was captured. Zephyr was captured. Even Sengoku was captured. There are so many of you. You can't even beat a young man. What kind of navy are you? Kong Gang was extremely angry. This is the first time I've suffered a huge loss. An event that could destabilize the entire naval headquarters. After the admiral was captured, the news spread to every corner of the Navy headquarters in a very short time. Even the Navy branch knew about it. Originally, Gang Yukong wanted to suppress this scandal. But he didn't know where the news got out. Suddenly, the whole world was going crazy over the incident. Of all the elites of the Navy headquarters surrounded Qin Luo, but Qin Luo captured several generals and easily left. In an instant, Qin Luo's name resounded throughout the world. Originally, Qin Luo's beating of the celestial dragons was only known to the residents of Shabayati and the soldiers of the Navy headquarters. But this time, Qin Luo has become a complete celebrity. Indistinctly, the momentum overtook Roger. The admiral of the Navy headquarters was captured by pirates. And he escaped easily in the presence of so many elite forces. This is absolutely a great shame and humiliation. This is a disgrace to the Navy headquarters. Not only did they fail to rescue the celestial dragons, they even lost several generals. This incident. You guys did a fantastic job. You've completely disgraced the Navy headquarters. Cyborg Sung was furious and raged like crazy. Garp, who was in the lead, stood quietly by the side without saying a word. Vice Admiral Tsuru, Bastille, Ghost Spider, and the others all clenched their fists with grim expressions and remained silent. This time was truly a shame. Not only did they fail to capture the celestial dragons, but they also suffered heavy casualties. This is simply the greatest disgrace since the founding of the Marine headquarters. Marshal. Suddenly, Lieutenant General He stepped forward. What's the matter? Gang Gukong raised his head and said with suppressed anger. Qin Luo asked our navy to prepare 8 billion berries in 5 days and wait for him in the New World. If we don't go, he will kill us. What? Gang Gukong's veins ripped open upon hearing this. He was so enraged that he couldn't be more furious. He slammed his right hand down on the table, shattering it completely. He actually dared to threaten the navy. He really doesn't want to live anymore. Gang Gukong was so angry that his chest was heaving violently, and his expression was extremely ferocious. Tell him. No way. The navy will not bow to evil forces. Gang Gukong roared in a decisive tone, obviously he was so angry that he lost his mind. But... Marshal. Zifa and Zhangguo are both in his hands. If we don't agree, I'm afraid Qin Luo will really kill them. If that happens, our navy headquarters will suffer a huge loss. Then using 8 billion Baileys to redeem someone. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? 8 billion. Why doesn't he just rob him? Gang Gukong roared with his eyes wide open. The vice admirals of the navy headquarters standing by were so frightened that their faces turned pale and cold sweats broke out on their backs. But Marshal. If we don't give him 8 billion, we will lose several generals. Zifa, Sengoku, even Sakaski and Borsellino are all potential generals. Don't you really want to think about it? Vice Admiral Tsuru analyzed seriously and was not intimidated by Kong Gang's anger. Damn it! Finally. Cyborg Sora clenched his fist and ordered, prepare 8 billion berries. 5 days later, I will personally go into battle. After rescuing Zhangguo, Zifa, and the others, I will directly wipe this man out in the New World. But Marshal, you don't care about the mysterious family behind this person. Upon hearing this, Gang Gukong's anger suddenly subsided, and he gritted his teeth and said, even if we don't kill him, we have to catch Qin Luo. The navy's money is not so easy to take. I will make him spit out as much as he takes. All navy, assemble in the New World. Within 5 days. Capture this man. Yes. Everyone said in unison. Issue a wanted order. Increase Qin Luo's bounty to 1 billion. Use the power of the entire world to capture him. I don't believe he can be his enemy. Yes. Then, a wanted notice was issued from the Navy headquarters, this man. It's Qin Luo. A newcomer. Bounty, 1 billion. Chapter 67 shocked the world. Qin Luo. A bounty of 1 billion? Where did this new guy come from? I've never heard of him before. The captain of the beast pirates looked at the headlines in the newspaper with a puzzled look. Captain. Is it that terrifying? 1 billion? That's already catching up to Whitebeard. Whitebeard also climbed up step by step. And this guy's first bounty is already 1 billion. What on earth did he do? I heard they beat up the celestial dragons and even captured the admirals of the marine headquarters, and there were more than one. What the hell? This guy is so powerful. There's a rumor going around that he fought alone against an overwhelming force, and in the end the navy didn't gain any advantage at all, but instead lost both the navy and the soldiers. All the members of the beast pirates were talking about it. The government's wanted order has been issued. Qin Luo is wanted, with a reward of 1 billion. Hey, are you interested in taking on the challenge? A young man with golden hair said with a smile. What? You want me to challenge a $1 billion pirate? You might as well just let me die. I'm a bounty hunter, but I know my own limitations. I'm afraid I won't be able to chop off your head, and I'll lose my life too. Hey, you're pretty smart, kid. Nonsense. You dare to fight a pirate with a billion bounty? He can kill you with just one slap. New World. Roger Pirates. Captain. The Navy's wanted order has been issued. The bounty on Mr. Chin Luo has been released. On the Golden Jack, Rayleigh walked up to Roger with a pale face, holding a newspaper. How many billions? Roger asked curiously with a strange look in his eyes. 1 billion. Rayleigh stretched out 10 fingers. 1 billion. Roger looked up in surprise, his face full of disbelief. Show me. After saying that, Rayleigh handed the newspaper to Roger. When Roger saw the familiar figure, he followed the direction of the newspaper. Chin Luo, bounty, Bailey. How could it be so high? Roger thought back to when he first offered a bounty, it was only tens of millions of Baileys, which was a far cry from Chin Luo's. Moreover, this is the first time a bounty has been offered, and it has exceeded this much? Chin Luo's future prospects are simply limitless. Yet, I was shocked too. Rayleigh stood for a while, then felt his chest start to hurt again, and quickly sat down. The new world will be turbulent again. We won't just have two enemies anymore. Roger raised his head and looked into the distance. In addition to Whitebeard and Shiki, there will be one more enemy. New World. Whitebeard Pirates. On the huge Moby Dick, the elites of the Whitebeard Pirates gathered on board. Captain Edward Newgate, with his white beard, sat on the deck with a dagger in his hand. Holding a newspaper in his hand. Chin Luo? A 1 billion bounty? Where did this little brat come from? Whitebeard had never had any contact with Chin Luo, so he was shocked by the news. Dad, I heard that he beat up the celestial dragons and even kidnapped the admiral of the marine headquarters, and even threatened the marine headquarters to pay 8 billion in exchange for him, said Phoenix Marco. 8 billion? This kid is really brave. He actually dared to blackmail the Navy, and the blackmail was so harsh. Dad, I heard they're going to trade with the New World in 5 days. Do you think the Navy headquarters will just pay the ransom? Pay money to redeem someone? After so many dealings with the Navy headquarters, do you think the Navy will suffer such a loss? What does Dad mean? That the Marine headquarters will turn against us? And capture this kid? 9 out of 10. Just wait and see. Whether this guy can escape is another matter. I heard that this time, it was Admiral Kong Kong from the Marine headquarters who personally led the troops in the transaction. It's going to be a good show. That's Marshal Gang Gukong. I think this guy is dead. Who says it's not? Courage without strategy. Even a billion-dollar bounty is but a fleeting glimmer of hope. Ultimately, you can't escape your fate of destruction. In this world, besides Roger, who else is worthy enough to be our father's opponent? Dad. After 5 days, do you want to intervene? Interfere? No. All of the Marine headquarters are mobilized. This matter is of great importance. If we are the first to intervene, the consequences will be severe. Shiki the Golden Lion and Roger are watching us. If we make the slightest mistake, the entire Whitebeard Pirates will collapse. So, we can't take any risks this time. At the same time, the whole world was shocked by Chin Luo's bounty. It was like a blockbuster bomb exploding in this world. All over the world, pirate groups, big and small, are discussing this mysterious man. Big Mom Pirate Group, Kaido Pirate Group, and a series of pirate groups are very curious about Chin Luo. Fishman Island. King. A wanted order from the Navy headquarters. Wanted. Who is wanted? King Neptune asked as he was getting up. Our god is wanted. Mr. Chin Luo. What? Chin Luo, who protected our Fishman Island. How many Baileys is on his bounty? King, take a guess, said a minister with a grin. 500 million. Neptune remembered that Chin Luo had guessed it once last time, so Neptune directly said 500 million. Wrong. Too low or too high? Low. 600 million. Still low. Could it be 700 million? Oh my god! This is already a very powerful pirate. Neptune was paralyzed on the ground in shock, muttering to himself. Still wrong. Mr. Chin Luo's bounty. 1 billion. What? 1 billion. The king was dumbfounded and terrified. Oh my god! I actually found a billionaire pirate to be the patron saint of Fishman Island. I've found a treasure. Yes. Fortunately, the king is wise. With Qin Luoshan protecting our Fishman Island, who would dare to come? I believe that White 5.6 Beard would not want to provoke our god. The people of Fishman Island already regard Qin Luo as a god. Save them from the dire straits. Haha. My Fishman Island has finally seen light. People all over the world are talking about Qin Luo. In just a short period of time, Qin Lunia went from being unknown to becoming a great pirate who could rival Whitebeard. All this shocked the world. At this moment, Qin Luo, the instigator of the chaos in this world, has already stopped on the Red Earth continent. The Holy Land is ahead. Mary Gosa. Tianlong people, here I come. Recommend a friend's new book Entertainment, Infinite Plunder. Chapter 68, Drag him out. Feed him to the dogs. Qin Luo and Dao Tu are currently on the Red Earth continent. And next to it is the Holy Land of the world government. Marie Joya. Qin Luo, everyone here is a Tianlong person, why did you bring me here? I brought you here to make you see clearly the evil of this world. The evil protected by the Marine headquarters. The evil shielded by the world government. The evil protected by the Marine headquarters. The evil sheltered by the world government. Qin Luo, what are you talking about? Although Dao Tu had heard some rumors that the celestial dragons were bloody, violent, arrogant, and domineering, she had never come into contact with them, so she didn't quite understand the situation. She just obeyed the Marine headquarters' request to protect the celestial dragons in confusion. System, how to hide other people's breath. Qin Luo understood that although he was powerful, it was only gravity, repulsion, and physical body. He was the full level of overlord of the sea. He had no way to hide his own breath. It was like a person who could kill a pig with 10 hands. If you asked him to catch fish, wouldn't it be difficult for him? Each has its strengths. But each also has its weaknesses. Qin Luo exchanges mysterious energy all over the world just to make up for these shortcomings. Although you can use the water source to enter the sea by using the overlord of the sea at the maximum level, there is no guarantee that you will not be discovered by the 5 elders. It's not that Qin Luo is afraid of the 5 elders, but the purpose of Qin Luo's coming this time is to educate Dao Tu first. After letting Dao Tu understand the truth of the world, Qin Luo will definitely compete with the 5 elders. Hide your aura? I have a way to hide your aura. It takes 1 hour and costs 1,000 points. 1,000? Qin Luo was stunned. This system was really good at raising prices? Hiding your aura for an hour, and getting 1,000 points? Why doesn't it just go grab it? 1,000-year-old system, fair to all. Exchange for 2, each takes 1 hour. Qin Luo reluctantly gave up and threw the points away. Page 36. Ding, redemption in progress, redemption successful, deduction, 2,000 points. Remaining points, 11,000. Qin Luo's mouth twitched. He just threw in 2,000 points for no reason, but in order to completely brainwash Dao Tu, he had no choice but to do this. Hidden. Qin Luo said inwardly, and suddenly a layer of grey mist and dust wrapped around his body, which was difficult to capture with the naked eye, and Qin Luo's breath and figure disappeared without a trace, as if Qin Luo did not exist here. The peach rabbit also dressed up to conceal its breath and whereabouts. Hey? What's this thing on me? Dao Tu noticed something unusual and was surprised when he saw what was wrapped around his body. This is a divine item. It can conceal your breath and body, and even the sounds you make. Even observation haki can't detect you. Besides me, no one else in this world can detect you. So magical. Dao Tu opened her beautiful eyes wide in surprise. Yes. I don't believe it. Dao Tu objected directly. How could such a magical thing exist in this world? Impossible. How ignorant, but it's not your fault. Just experience it yourself. Qin Luo didn't want to say any more nonsense. If you can hide your body and breath, you won't have to worry about being disturbed by the 5 elders. Although Qin Luo was not afraid of revealing his whereabouts, the intervention of the 5 elders would disturb Qin Luo's interest in brainwashing Dao Tu. The two of them flew quickly to the Holy Land of Mary Gosa and soon disappeared into it, without any of the 5 elders of the world government noticing. In a luxurious and wealthy mansion, Qin Luo and Dao Tu walked in with arrogance, and the slaves and Tianlong people inside were completely unaware. Damn garbage! It really makes this saint lose face. Suddenly, a celestial dragon with an angry face walked in from outside, with the slave kneeling and crawling behind him. Although he was kneeling, the slave's movements were extremely agile. My lord! This slave is such a waste. Today, I made you lose face in front of Cha-Lola Saint. It's all this beast's fault. Next to the Tianlong man, a man wearing gold-rimmed glasses had a vicious look in his eyes and flattered him in a provocative way. Sir! Spare me! Sir! I'm so hungry. I have no strength at all. If I were full, I would definitely beat him. Sir! Give me one more chance. The slave was in a miserable state, blood dripping all over his body, with horrible wounds. He was emaciated, like a skeleton. Even so, the slave, kneeling on the ground, still begged for mercy with all his might. This slave was originally a pirate. After being captured, he served the celestial dragons. The collar around his neck was a means of restraining the pirate. He was afraid of death, so he survived to this day. Useless trash! You made me lose face in front of Saint Cha-Lola and even humiliated me thoroughly. Your crime is unforgivable. Saint Lochhead was furious, his eyes full of naked anger. Ross! Chop this piece of trash into pieces and throw it out to feed the dogs. Saint Lochhead was furious and directly sentenced the man to death. No. My lord. No. I don't want to die yet. The slave stared with despair and roared at the top of his lungs. Dao Tu, who was standing by, was shocked and her face was distorted. Too deceiving. Without Qin Luo saying anything, Dao Tu began to feel indignant. Soon, the slave was dragged out, and then, under the eyes of Qin Luo and Tao Tu, the slave was skinned alive and chopped into meat paste to feed their mouths. Seeing this scene, Dao Tu was quite frightened and squeezed into Qin Luo's arms and cried bitterly. Well, this is the cruelty of the world. Only the strong have the right to speak, and these celestial dragons are arrogant and domineering under the protection of the world government. Do you still believe that everything the Navy does is just? I don't know. But what if this is a special case? Is this the only celestial dragon like this? Or that pirate has done so many evil things that he deserves to be killed like this? In that case, our Navy is just. Dao Tu had a fierce struggle in her heart. Really? Well, I'll take you to see it later. But, I've decided to take down this Tianlong man. Qin Luo raised his eyelids slightly, walked up to Saint Law's aide, and slapped him. Snapped. A crisp sound resounded throughout the courtyard, and Saint Law's head flew out without any warning, fell to the ground with blood spurting from his mouth, and curled up in pain. Qin Luo did not use much force, otherwise, this Tianlong man would have died long ago. Who? The sudden scene frightened Saint Law's head so much that he started to roar without caring about the pain in his body. Ross was so scared that his face turned green, and his eyes were full of fear. Chapter 69, Leave it to me, I will torture him to death. Ross was so scared that his face turned green, and his eyes were full of fear. Who? Who hit me? Saint Lochhead's hair stood on end and cold sweat instantly broke out. There was silence all around, and no one answered. In fact, Qin Luo wanted to speak, but this mysterious energy concealed Qin Luo's breath, whereabouts, and voice. Even if Qin Luo spoke, Saint Law's aide could not hear him. Therefore, Qin Luo was too lazy to open his mouth. Sir! Are you okay? Ross walked up to Saint Lochhead fearfully, intending to help him up. Qin Luo went up and kicked the guy. Plop! Ross lost his balance and was kicked to the ground by Qin Luo, directly hitting Saint Lochhead, who was lying on the ground in a miserable state. Ah! Saint Lochhead and Ross screamed, and their voices echoed throughout the entire family. Master! Grown-ups! The servants of the celestial dragons quickly put down what they were doing and rushed over. They didn't really care about Saint Lochhead, they just didn't want to be abused or beaten by Saint Lochhead. While appearing to care on the outside, he is actually afraid of the power of the celestial dragons. Get out of here! Damn it! Saint Lochhead was furious and kicked Ross away, causing him to feel severe pain from the impact. Ross fell to the ground, blood gushing from his mouth and nose. He stood up in fear and knelt on the ground, saying, My lord, I deserve to die. I really didn't mean to do that. I deserve to die. Master! Grown-ups! Other servants also rushed over, and one of them was quick-witted and tried to help Saint Lochhead up. Get out of here! This saint doesn't need your support. You're a bunch of trash. Dirty slaves. This saint's dignity will never be tarnished by slaves like you. After he finished speaking, the servants around him quickly moved away, watching Saint Lodgehead stand up in shock. Hiss! Cold air rushed into his mouth, and Saint Lodgehead felt great pain all over his body, as if he was pierced by millions of silver needles. Pa! Qin Luo was unhappy and slapped him again. Suddenly, Saint Lodgehead saw stars and passed out from the slap. Soon, several celestial dragons arrived in this spacious courtyard. All of them are members of this clan. Son! What happened to you? Suddenly, a sharp-eyed celestial dragon saw Saint Lodgehead flying out covered in blood, and immediately panicked. This celestial dragon is named Saint Rockamar, and Saint Lodgehead is the son of Saint Rockamar. Brother! Another slightly older celestial dragon also shouted. Several celestial dragons noticed Saint Lodgehead and rushed over here. But before they reached Qin Luo, these Tianlong people were slapped away by Qin Luo. Decisive. Straightforward. All of a sudden, these Tianlong people were sent flying backwards. As expected, they were all seriously injured and dying. Master! Sir! The slaves were going crazy, all scared out of their wits. A bunch of bastards, catch them all! Qin Luo smiled slightly and raised his right hand. In an instant, all the Tianlong people present were pressed into the abyss of hell by Qin Luo. What? The celestial dragon master has disappeared. They're all gone? The celestial dragons are all gone. Who did this? Please spare my life, Grandpa. Please spare my life, Grandpa. Suddenly, the slaves knelt on the ground trembling, fearing that they would be killed mysteriously. Invisible fear is the most deadly. Qin Luo didn't want to kill them all, and he ignored the frightened servants kneeling on the ground. Instead, he walked out of the mansion with Dao Tu. Another mansion. Master Tianlongren, this slave really made you proud today. He actually defeated the slave under Master Saint Lodgehead. At that time, I saw that Saint Lodgehead's face was twisted into a ball. At this moment, in another mansion not far from Saint Lodgehead's mansion, the butler was constantly flattering. Ha ha ha! This slave really made this saint proud today. I didn't expect him to vent his anger like this. This saint's dog is 100 times stronger than Saint Lodgehead's dog. And this saint is 1,000 times stronger than Saint Lodgehead. Cha-Er Luo Lisheng looked arrogant and conceited. Yes, Your Excellency is right. You are the most powerful. Your Excellency, did you see Saint Lodgehead's expression at that time? It was so distorted that it truly opened my eyes. Humph! This brat dares to compare himself with this saint. He is far from it. Cha-Er Luo Li Saint was arrogant and indulgent, and he was conceited to the extreme. Then, sir, does this kid still want a reward? The Tianlong steward flattered, his face was so disgusting that it was outrageous. Even Dao Tu wanted to beat this guy. Reward? Of course I must reward. This dog slave brought honor to this saint. How can I convince the public without rewarding him? Don't you agree? The servants on the side knelt quietly on the ground, and when Cha-Er Luo Lisheng's gaze swept over them, they all nodded. At this moment, right in front of the servants, there was a dying pirate. His facial features were no longer visible and were completely blocked by blood. His body was covered in blood and he was obviously seriously injured. The saint of Tier Lule glanced at the almost motionless servant on the ground and said, "Since he has brought honor to me, I will reward him with death by a poisonous snake. What do you think? Is this reward good? Is it okay?" All right. Your Excellency is wise." Upon hearing this, the Tianlong steward agreed without hesitation. "Then what are you still standing there for? Letting this trash stay here is an eyesore to me. Take it out. It will save me the trouble." Cha-Er Luo Lisheng looked cold and arrogant, and his expression changed very quickly. Good. The Tianlong steward hurriedly ordered the slaves to drag the man out. Damn beast! That slave fought for his honor, but in the end he was treated like this. All the celestial dragons are beasts. Dao Tu could no longer restrain herself, and the little universe in her heart exploded. She had only heard that the celestial dragons were arrogant and unreasonable before, but what Dao Tu saw today was their bloodthirstiness and brutality. The world government is protecting a bunch of trash like this. They're so blind. Dao Tu was indignant, clenching her fists. She rushed over to Cha Er Luo Lai Sheng in 2 or 3 steps and punched him. Damn bastards! Die! With one punch, Cha Er Luo Lai Sheng flew backwards and fell to the ground with a bang. Everyone around was shocked. At this moment, Qin Luo looked at Dao Tu's expression and couldn't help but smile. Finally the brainwashing was successful. Dao Tu, leave him to me, I will torture him to death. Qin Luo said calmly, and then locked Cha Er Luo Lai Sheng into the abyss hell. The two went to 5 or 6 houses, and Dao Tu was furious at what the Tianlong people did. The Tianlong people were not spared from death, and were all captured by Qin Luo. In the end, about 20 people were arrested, and these 20 people. This is a great gift from Qin Luo to this world government. Chapter 70, Earth-Shattering Star. Holy Land Marie Joya. Qin Luo captured 20 celestial dragons in the Holy Land, but the highest authority in the world government was still unaware that the nobles were now suffering a terrible fate. Dao Tu, have you recognized the true face of this world? Qin Luo, wearing a red dress and black robe, couldn't help but exude an air of loneliness and indifference. Facing the sky, he couldn't help but ask. Yet, Dao Tu's eyes were red. She had been crying for a long time. Her originally rosy face now looked a little pale. Girls are emotional animals, Qin Luo has to admit this. Just because of the bloody and cruel nature of the Tianlong people, Dao Tu was angry dozens of times. At first, Qin Luo went to teach the Tianlong people a lesson. In the end, without Qin Luo doing anything, Dao Tu couldn't stand it anymore and beat up the Tianlong people in anger. Do you still want to be a navy? To protect the celestial dragons, the so-called nobles of the world? Qin Luo continued to ask. The main reason he came here this time was to brainwash Dao Tu. In order to brainwash Dao Tu, Qin Luo directly spent 2,000 points. If the brainwashing failed, Qin Luo would definitely kill himself. No. Dao Tu's face was full of stubbornness, with a flash of stubbornness in his eyes. Then what are you going to do? Qin Luo began to set a trap. Dao Tu has long been extremely disappointed with the Tianlong people and is disgusted with them to the extreme. She even didn't understand how such garbage could exist in this world. I want to be a pirate. Dao Tu made her decision on 520 and shouted loudly. What do you want to be? Qin Luo confirmed again. Could it be that this girl finally got it? I want to be a pirate. I will follow the justice in my heart and decide my own actions. I don't want to work for the Marine headquarters. I won't work for the world government. Momo Townie seemed to be taking an oath, shouting loudly to the sky. Okay. Qin Luo smiled. He finally succeeded in brainwashing Dao Tu. From today on, Dao Tu has completely become a member of the Liu Yun pirate group. She is also the first female pirate recruited by Qin Luo. Put it on. Qin Luo handed the red cloud and black robe to Dao Tu. Momoki was also unambiguous. Since she decided to join the Liu Yun pirates, she had no way back. While beating up the celestial dragons, Dao Tu already knew. She had said goodbye to the Marine headquarters. And the world government. What she faces will be the endless pursuit of the world government. However, she is not afraid. Wearing a red cloud and black robe, Dao Tu showed an extremely cold beauty. The temperament of rejecting people from 1,000 miles away made Qin Luo couldn't help but admire her. Is this red cloud and black robe so powerful? Dao Tu has transformed herself and is no longer the simple girl she used to be, but a complete pirate. Come on. Follow me to do something big. Big deal? What big deal? Dao Tu put on her clothes but did not change her original cuteness and innocence, and couldn't help asking. Destroy this holy land. System, remove the mysterious energy from me and Dao Tu, but I don't want anyone to see my face. Is there any way? Ding, the host has 30 minutes left. If the host wants to remove the mysterious energy, you can. And, just cover your face so that no one can recognize you. That's it. Both Dao Tu and I will do it. Please wait. Ding, removal completed. Afterwards, Qin Luo discovered that the mysterious energy on his body had disappeared except on his face. And the same is true for Peach Rabbit. Suddenly, the auras of Qin Luo and Dao Tu were instantly detected by the 5 elders, the highest authority in the world government. The highest level of world government. In a magnificent office, 5 old men sat around a round table. One of them, a square-faced old man, suddenly looked surprised. Someone sneaked in. I also sensed it, in the celestial dragon's residence, and there were 2 of them. When did these 2 people come in? Why didn't the 5 of us notice them? An old man with a white beard and 2 vertical mustaches asked in surprise. The 5 of them all possessed powerful observation haki, so who could escape their search? What do these 2 people want to do? Look at their clothes. They must be some kind of organization. A knife-wielding man wiped his knife and guessed. No matter what the reason, as long as you set foot in the Holy Land, you will be killed without mercy. A bald man was murderous and showed no sign of evasion. That's all we have to do. Who should we send? These 5 people are none other than the 5 elders, the highest authority in the world government. While the 5 people were discussing, Qin Luo had already used repulsion to fly quickly to a position 3,000 meters above the Holy Land of Mary Gosa. What are you going to do? Dao Tu looked puzzled. Before she knew anything, she was pulled up by Qin Luo. Right below her was the world government. Coming up so high. Are you going to declare war on the world? Destroy the Holy Land? Qin Luo spoke calmly, then stretched out his hands and faced the sky. Gravity. Earth-shattering star. Suddenly, a vast and boundless terrifying gravitational force was released from Qin Luo's body. Standing in the void, his whole body radiated golden light, brilliant and gorgeous. From a distance, he looked like a small sun hanging in the air. However, beneath this beauty, a terrifying murderous intent was brewing. Boom! Suddenly, the world government within a radius of 5,000 meters was enveloped by a huge force. Qin Luo's surroundings suddenly turned dark. And the gravity increased dramatically. Snap! Snap! The earth was torn apart by this unparalleled gravity, and terrifying and hideous cracks appeared. The surrounding mountains also collapsed. The entire mountain range continued to collapse under this gravitational force, turning into countless rocks, floating into the air and condensing in Qin Luo's hands. Wow! The earth cracked, and the entire mountain range shattered, turning into rocks and flying into the sky. The sky is shattering and the sea is roaring. Red Earth Continent, New World, Sabayati Archipelago, Naval Headquarters. All of them were shaking violently. Countless huge rocks rushed towards Qin Luo madly from a radius of 5,000 meters. The heavens and the earth were in turmoil, the sea was howling, and the originally clear sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds. Thunder streaked across the sky. It was like the end of the world. Above the sea, the blue waves surged, and countless tons of seawater were sucked up to the sky by Qin Luo's gravity, raising a series of shocking water columns, and the sea breeze roared. The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. New World. Roger Pirates. The moment Qin Luo used the earth-shattering star, he felt the huge changes in the sea. His eyes looked towards the world government Mary Gosa, full of solemnity. Captain! What's wrong? Red-haired Shanks took off his hat and asked in confusion. World government. Roger only said half of the sentence and stopped. Then he saw countless tornadoes sweeping towards them. New World, Whitebeard Pirates. Dad! What happened? There, a shocking change occurred. At the same time, Shamboard Islands. Gang Gukong was discussing with all the lieutenant generals about capturing Qin Luoshi when suddenly the whole room shook violently and the cups on the table shattered without any warning. What's going on? Gang Gukong frowned. He had a premonition that something had happened in the Holy Land of Mary Gosa. Marshal! It's the Holy Land. Karp also had a keen perception and spoke hurriedly. Holy Land? What happened to the Holy Land? The remaining lieutenant generals could not sense where exactly the incident had occurred. The earth is shaking and the wind is howling. World government. Marie Joa. Above the Holy Land. Qin Luo stood alone, 3,000 meters in the air, as countless boulders flew towards him and gathered in his hands. Because of gravity, the boulders were squeezed together tightly, breaking the original texture and recondensing into a huge stone that shook the world. Chapter 71, I. Celebrity Cloud. Today. Destroy the Holy Land. From afar, a huge and shocking boulder gathered in the sky above the world government Mary Gosa. Thunder and lightning. Heavy wind and rain. It's like a doomsday disaster. Qin Luo raised his hand with a cold look. Peach Rabbit looked at the huge rock and was horrified. Qin Luo condensed a shockingly huge sphere in his hand, and as the sphere grew larger, it did not sink at all. With the power of just one person, he can control such an astonishing stone sphere that is 1,000 meters long and wide. Just how terrifying is the man in front of me? Qin. Is this your full strength? Dao Tu was determined, but she couldn't help asking. Full strength? This is just an appetizer. Not worth mentioning. Qin Luo smiled indifferently, and then slammed down to the ground. Gravity. 1,000 times. Qin Luo raised his finger slightly and uttered it softly, as if giving an order. The 1,000-meter giant sphere 3,000 meters above the Holy Land was created by Qin Luo's shout. Blast down at full speed. Gravity's blessing. This huge sphere is falling madly. Like a meteorite from outer space. Fierce and domineering. There were even amazing fireworks all around. Seen from the front, this kilometer-long meteorite has the appearance of a red cloud symbol, and the burning flames make the red cloud appear bright red, as if it were stained with blood. It's almost on par with the red cloud logo. Pirates from all over the world all focused their attention on the broadcast on TV. In the picture, there were lightning and thunder in the huge clouds, and the wind was howling. In the face of these natural disasters, the dazzling bright red cloud meteorite rushed towards the world government in full view of everyone. This is a provocation. This is a challenge. This is crushing. In the Sabayati archipelago, all the pirates and island residents stopped what they were doing and looked at the bright flames in the sky in shock. The friction of the air makes the meteorite become extremely red, and it is brilliant and eye-catching under the dark sky. That. What is that? Meteorite. How can there be such a big meteorite? Could it be a meteorite falling from the sky? Look at the screen. There's a figure on top of that boulder. Upon hearing this, everyone's eyes were focused on the huge screen. A huge crowd of people stood still, staring at the screen in amazement. The screen expanded step by step, and the red meteorite appeared closer and closer under people's eyes. Finally, people saw two figures standing in the void above the boulder. I don't know what kind of high-tech it is, but the pictures taken are so clear that they are still clear even if they are magnified thousands of times. Two figures appeared on tens of thousands of screens. A tall figure with flying hair, and a red cloud and black robe rustling in the wind. The other person was shorter in stature, with long hair, and was also wearing a red cloud and black robe. The only thing that is not clear is the face. No matter how much you magnify it, 1,000 times. Even 10,000 times. You still can't capture the face. Pirates and people from all over the world can feel the cold and indifferent aura from the man through the screen. In the picture, the two of them were standing in the void, with lightning striking down violently. The two of them just stood there in the lightning and thunder, motionless. Is this still a human? What kind of monster is this? How could there be a human here? And look at the logo on the clothes. It looks exactly like this huge rock. Could it be that he got the shocking meteorite? This meteorite is 1,000 meters long and wide. Who can move it? This person is not afraid of thunder and lightning. He is no longer a human. He should be called a god. God. Besides. New World. Whitebeard Pirates, Roger Pirates. Big Mom Pirates, Kaido Pirates. Everyone was frantically trying to resist the seawater because of this natural disaster. A huge sea spout raised the sea area by 300 meters and swallowed the pirate ship. Navy headquarters, Marine Vondo. Even powerful figures like Kong and Garp were terrified after seeing this scene. And those vice-admirals who had never seen the world were even more terrified. It was unbelievable. In the marine headquarters, Akainu will use meteor volcano. But Akainu's meteor volcano is nothing compared to the burning meteorite in front of him that is 1,000 meters long and wide. Marshal! Marshal, what is this? Ghost Spider was stunned and swallowed his saliva in panic. How should I know? Damn it! What the hell is going on? How could such a huge stone appear above the Holy Land? And it was done by human hands. Who has this ability? To openly challenge the world's highest authority, the 5 elders. Where are the 5 elders? They are the strongest and most powerful people in the world. Are they just going to watch the destruction of the Holy Land? And then the destruction of the world? What a terrifying power! Is this still human-made? Who is that person? Everyone in the Navy headquarters focused their eyes on the screen, shocked. Inside the Holy Land, all the celestial dragon families emerged, stunned by the sight of the massive rock overhead. The entire Holy Land was in chaos, with some of the more timid ones even peeing their pants out of fear. Slaves, butlers, menials, celestial dragons. All of them fled frantically. The 5 elders in the most luxurious hall were also shocked. This kind of look hasn't appeared in hundreds of years. Damn, what is this thing? It was those 2 who did it. The moment they were discovered, they had already flown into the sky. They condensed such a huge meteorite. What should we do? Are we sure we can resist it? Difficult. Unless you die once. Die once? As long as we can stop it. Not to mention dying once. Even if it means dying 10,000 times. I won't hesitate. Because we are immortal. Protect the celestial dragons with all your strength. They cannot make the slightest mistake. The 5 of them united in purpose, and in an instant, they flew out of the Holy Land. They stood in the void, their white hair flying. The wind howled. A rare look of fear appeared on their calm faces. That is the fear of death. Even though they are immortal, the pain is real. Do it. The 5 people spoke at the same time, and suddenly, 5 dazzling and shocking forces blasted out from their arms, condensing into a thick beam of light, and blasted towards the sky-supporting meteorite. Holy Land Marijoya. 3,000 meters in the air. Qin Luo was suspended in the air, his hair flying, his expression cold, lightning and thunder behind him, and strong winds. At this moment, he faced the world and said calmly. I, Ming Liu Yun. Today. Destroy the Holy Land. Chapter 72 The Fear of the World. What made them most crazy was that Liu Yun was going to destroy the Holy Land. This is simply the ultimate dream of all pirates. They used to be pirate kings, and being pirate kings was just the first step. Their ultimate goal is to overthrow the world government. And the person who has never appeared before is standing in the most eye-catching place in the world today. Declare the world. He wants to destroy the Holy Land. Liu Yun. Liu Yun. I have become your loyal fan. God. Is there a pirate group? Does the pirate group still need people? I want to go in. Fuck you. You're such a jerk, and you think you can join the gods' pirates? Even Whitebeard might not be qualified. Fuck. This guy is simply inhuman. He actually dared to destroy the Holy Land in front of the 5 elders. He's truly not afraid of death. You useless bastards. What do you know? Since Flowing Cloud God dares to challenge us, he must be confident that he can destroy this Holy Land. What a terrifying power. This is beyond the limit. Hey, destroy the world government? Great. The government is destroyed. The world will be ruled by pirates. You're overthinking it. The world will be destroyed. God will rule the world. It's the end of the world, or the rebirth of the pirates. This is a chance. All the pirates on the Sabayati archipelago were excited and their blood was boiling. What Liu Yun did was something they dared not even imagine. Directly confronting the 5 elders has never happened in history. This is a first. Liu Yun is the originator who created the precedent. Navy headquarters. Looking at that cold and arrogant figure, Gang Gukong's face turned pale. The one he was protecting, the world government. Actually, this Liu Yun was provoking him like this. And in front of the whole world. Destroy the Holy Land. This is a slap in the face of the Navy. Slap the world government in the face. Damn it. Who is this guy? Gang Gukong stared at the huge, bright red meteorite above the Holy Land with fear and trepidation. Such a huge meteorite is extremely solemn. Looking at the people below the Holy Land, they look like ants, extremely small. The celestial dragons within the Holy Land gazed up at the sky, completely obscured by the meteorite. This meteorite was as vast as the sun, radiant and hot. Its power was astonishing. Looking around, the huge rocks seemed to have no end in sight, and the top of the head was completely covered by meteorites. The sun? The sky? Everything. All of it was blocked by the meteorite's shockingly large size. If this 1,000-meter-high meteorite falls, I'm afraid there will no longer be a world government. A heavy sense of oppression erupted violently, and deep despair rose in their eyes. Now, they realized how insignificant they were. They were vulnerable to natural disasters. In the Holy Land, the wind howled, the earth shook, and meteorites fell. The earth cracked open, and large, hideous cracks quickly appeared, torn apart by the huge crushing force of the meteorite. All the Tianlong people were terrified and knelt on the ground trembling. Some of the timid ones even peed their pants out of fear. Boom! The meteorite vibrated violently. The world government. It collapsed under this invisible crushing momentum. The world government, under the watchful eyes of the public, was completely crushed. Puff! 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 The Tianlong people in the Holy Land were slammed to the ground by the huge crushing momentum and had no power to resist. The impact force rushed into their bodies domineeringly, as if they were hit by someone's palm. Without exception, all the Tianlong people were bleeding from all 7 orifices and their faces were hideous. Damn it! Go protect the celestial dragons! One of the 5 elder stars standing in the void, with an angry face, shouted at the other 4. I go! A bald man withdrew his hands and disappeared. In an instant, all the celestial dragons, who had been in chaos within the Holy Land, gathered in a wide area below. When the celestial dragons saw this man, they shouted angrily, "Asshole! You're only here now. Do you know this saint almost died? Damn it! What the hell are you 5 doing? The celestial dragons are dead. You guys can't even think about living anymore. If we're going to die, let's die together." All the Tianlong people went crazy, there was nothing they could do. The meteorite that covered the sky and the sun pressed them so hard that they could hardly breathe. Its momentum alone almost took their lives. If it really fell, wouldn't they die instantly? Despite being insulted like this, the bald old man did not get angry. Instead, he said calmly, "Don't worry, I won't let you die. You are honorable Tianlong people." However, there was a hint of indifference in his tone. It was not that the bald old man wanted to save them, but that he did so out of necessity. "Then what are you still standing there for? My people are dead. You have to take half the responsibility." "That's right. Even if I die, you won't be able to live anymore." The eyes of all the celestial dragons were red, and it was obvious that they had been pushed to the point of desperation. The bald old man was speechless, then he raised his hands, and a terrifying energy wave burst out from his palms. In the end, this energy directly enveloped all the Tianlong people, and everything outside seemed to be completely isolated. "Hey? This old man is quite capable. I don't feel any oppression at all." "Yes. Fortunately, this bald guy knew how to save people. As for the other 4 damn old men, if this saint doesn't die, they will definitely pay the price." In his heart, the Tianlong people are the most noble. Even the world's highest authority, the 5 elders, must obey their orders. Ensure their safety. With a powerful enemy at hand, the selfish celestial dragons only want 5 old men to protect them, 1 is simply not enough. Fear. Gang Gukong's fingers trembled. Even he couldn't help but feel a sense of despair in his heart when facing such a huge and majestic meteorite. If you are hit by this meteorite, even if you survive, you will probably have to pay a heavy price. Chapter 73, 5 Elder Stars, Die. Boom. There was a loud roar from the sky, and one of the 5 elder stars, the old man holding a knife, slashed with his sword. The huge ring of golden light was extremely bright, like a dazzling star. The sword on it was whistling and extremely fierce, like a divine dragon, slashing towards the meteorite weighing tens of millions of pounds in the sky. The fierce sword energy cut the stones madly, and after the collision, a huge meteorite was cut off. However, compared with the entire meteorite, this huge meteorite only accounted for 1%. Damn it! It's so delicate. I can't cut it at all. The old man holding the knife was shocked. For other boulders, one cut from him could not only split mountains but also chop seas. However, the meteorite in front of him was so delicate that one cut from him was like scratching an itch. Fear. Tremble. I, Liu Yun, will overturn the world. Qin Luo stood on the top. Thunder and lightning flashed in the sky, as if the end of the world was coming. Dao Tue beside him said nothing and looked at the Holy Land Mary Gosa in silence. Go to hell, Tianlong people! Your existence in this world is an insult to it. Dao Tue did not feel disgusted at Qin Luo's cruelty. On the contrary, she felt relieved, a relief that had been suppressed for a long time. She witnessed the sinister faces of those Tianlong people with her own eyes. If a Tianlong person was like this, she could still stick to the justice in her heart. However, after witnessing that all Tianlong people were corrupt and decadent to the extreme, Dao Tue had despaired of the world's noble Tianlong people. All over the world, whether pirates or navy, Everyone stared at the screen with bated breath. Liu Yun. So scary. Such an amazing aura. Liu Yun, will overturn the world. Such a domineering statement. He's so handsome. I'm going to Liu Yun to be a pirate. People all over the world were stunned by Qin Luo's impressive words. The pirates' blood boiled after hearing this. Even their hearts, which had been fluctuating for a long time, began to be full of fighting spirit again. The navy, on the other hand, trembled and felt uneasy under these domineering and arrogant words. As the meteorite got lower and lower, everyone's breathing became heavier. They looked at the vast meteorite with horror. Strike and slash. Divine fist. 4 of the 5 elders used their own moves to try to smash the meteorite to pieces. However, as they attacked, they discovered that the meteorite's strength was far more terrifying than they had imagined. No. I can't stop it at all. 4 of the 5 elders were so tired from making such a move that they suddenly discovered that the meteorite hadn't been shaved off much at all. As Qin Luo's gravity grew stronger, more boulders from all around pounced on the meteorite and became part of it. Falling from a height of 3,000 meters, it was originally only 1,000 meters, but when it reached the ground, it had doubled in height. It extends to 2,000 meters in length and width. Cover up this day. Cover this land. Go to hell. Qin Luo opened his mouth slightly and muttered to himself. At the Marine headquarters, Marshal Steele and everyone else shut their mouths and stared at the screen in shock. As the giant meteorite fell, a sense of despair rose in their hearts. Some of the vice-admirals were even beginning to panic. The soldiers of the Marine headquarters were in even greater chaos. All of them were like crazy. As the meteorite got closer, the earth was crushed into a huge oval by this invisible momentum, and the red soil continent was cracked into dozens of cracks, which was hideous to the eye. All this is like a doomsday disaster. No. The Tianlong people won't survive like this. The square-faced old man among the 5 elders looked terrified. If all the Tianlong people died, then they would definitely die too, and there would be no way they could be resurrected. In an instant, the 4 old men looked at each other. Eye contact. Look, this is the only way. I have been immortal for 800 years. I never expected that I would be killed by Liu Yun again. However, if I can be resurrected, you, Liu Yun, will have to pay 1,000 times the price. Stop talking nonsense. Let's get started. I am coming. As the 4 old men spoke, they gave up trying to resist the terrifying meteorite and appeared on the ground in a flash. Why did you come down? The bald old man looked serious. We can't resist it, we can only delay it, and you, too, can't resist this kind of power. Therefore, we can only desperately transfer all the Tianlong people out. This spatial transfer can only be accomplished by the 5 of us working together. Then what should we do? Asked the bald old man. Die. The man with the knife spoke coldly, his eyes full of determination. Do I really have to die once? Haha, forget it, I can live anyway. The bald old man couldn't help laughing when he heard this, as if death was not scary at all. For them, death is a word they haven't heard for a long time. In fact, they have never died in the past 800 years and have lived until now. Get ready. All the 5 elders agreed. Then, 5 people stood in 5 positions respectively, surrounding all the Tianlong people. They raised their fingers slightly, and 5 colored beams of light suddenly emerged from the 5 old men. The energy of that beam of light was extremely mysterious. The Tianlong people who were illuminated did not feel anything. The meteorite fell. Escape. At this critical moment, the 5 old men roared at the same time. In an instant, the light became extremely bright, a strange wave spread out, and then all the Tianlong people disappeared. Only 5 old men were left there, with complicated expressions. Their eyes were filled with fear and anticipation. I've lived for 800 years and never died. This is the first time. The 5 elders are also human beings. They also fear death. Even though he was immortal, the pain was real. Bring it on. The 5 old men looked at the meteorite in the sky with firm eyes, feeling indescribable. Boom! The meteorite smashed down, and its immense power all bombarded the red soil continent. The high-rise buildings of the world government had already been reduced to ashes under this mighty force. In an instant, the land of the red soil continent was instantly shattered into pieces. The earth was torn apart by this terrifying force, and cracks hundreds of meters long emerged. The red soil continent was also fragile under this terrifying force, and the boulder was smashed to pieces. The entire meteorite was directly embedded into the red soil continent. The wind roared, and tens of millions of tons of seawater evaporated. In the waters close to the red earth continent, a large number of sea kings died and floated up, creating an extremely exciting scene. And the 5 elders, under this overbearing energy, were all reduced to ashes. A complete death. Chapter 74, The Holy Land has been destroyed and the government no longer exists. The deafening explosion shook the earth. The unrivaled meteorite fell from a height of 3,000 meters, and under the blessing of repulsion, it was definitely not weaker than the powerful force of foreign meteorites. All of them crushed towards the red earth continent. The Holy Land of Mary Gosa has been completely destroyed and devastated. Even the entire Holy Land has been completely changed and turned into dust. Except for the celestial dragons, everyone else was killed here. Even the world's highest authorities, the 5 elders, are no exception. No one can resist this overwhelming and powerful force. Unless it's God. The natural devil fruit can transform into photon fluid, which may give you a chance to escape. Because the speed of the meteorite has broken through the sky and is comparable to the speed of light. Even for those who are naturally fluid, escaping is not easy. Boom! A shocking shock wave rose from the red earth continent, and the sea water was directly raised by several thousand meters. This huge rock directly stirred the sea, and the waves were surging. Violent explosions resounded through the sky. The originally noble world Holy Land Mary Gosa no longer exists. All that remains is the meteorite summoned by Qin Luo. The red earth continent collapsed and the entire 400-meter meteorite was embedded in it. From a distance, the red cloud logo is gorgeous and eye-catching. At this moment, people all over the world were watching intently. Suddenly, the picture became blurred and then went pitch black. Navy headquarters. The image on the screen disappeared, Gang Gukong's face turned ashen, his fists clenched tightly, and his whole body was shaking involuntarily. That is the fear from the heart, the fear of meteorites. He had lived for so many years, but had never seen such a terrifying meteorite. The destructive power was even more appalling. As the screen image disappeared, all the members in the office stood there in stunned silence. I still haven't gotten over the unforgettable scene just now. After half a minute of silence, the deadlock was finally broken. How to do? Gang Gukong seemed to have lost all his energy and spirit, and he became depressed. How to do? This is the question in everyone's mind, not just Gang Gukong's. The world government was destroyed, the Holy Land of Mary Gosa was annihilated. In their opinion, the celestial dragons must have been crushed to death, and it was unknown whether the 5 elders were alive or dead. The Navy headquarters, which was loyal to the world government, fell into a state of extreme confusion and bewilderment for a while. Will we continue to uphold justice and suppress evil forces, or will we be suppressed by evil forces? It's impossible to judge. Their naval headquarters was strong and powerful just a moment ago. The world government has the 5 elders as the highest authority, who control all power. Below is Marshal Gang Gukong, who commands the 3 armies. Under Cyborg Sora are a series of powerful men including Garp, Zephyr, Sengoku, Borsellino, Sakazuki, etc. There are even a dozen vice-admirals below. This can completely sweep away any force in this world. But now? The fate of the 5 elders is unknown, and the highest authority and the strongest have all encountered doomsday disasters. What's more, Qin Luo also has strong men such as Zhangguo, Zifa, Borsellino, and Sakazuki in his hands. This almost cost the Navy headquarters its life. Invincible one moment, feared by all the world the next. In the new world, Whitebeard, Roger, and Shiki are eyeing it covetously, and in addition, there is Qin Luo, a strong man who is more terrifying than the marshal. In addition to them, there is an extraordinary existence above this. Liu Yun. This name is engraved in almost everyone's mind and will never be forgotten in this lifetime. There is a ferocious wolf in front and a fierce tiger behind. Now the Navy headquarters is in a completely precarious situation. What if all the 5 elders really died? Then their naval headquarters won't be able to hold out for long. And this world is bound to be ruled by pirates. What should we do? Gang Gukong asked again, but still no one answered. It's not that I don't want to answer, but I simply don't know how to answer. Faced with everyone's silence, Gang Gukong fell into deep thought again. All Navy, go to the Holy Land of Mary Gosa with all your strength to search for the 5 elder stars. If you find them, the reward will be 5 billion. Gang Gukong suddenly spoke. And he forced himself to be energetic again. Marshal, do you think the 5 elders are still alive? Garp's eyes were gloomy. The scale of the explosion just now was absolutely unprecedented and it was simply beyond human power to withstand. If the 5 elders were still alive, it would definitely be news that shocked the world. The fact that they can survive in the face of such divine power shows that the 5 elders are powerful enough to reach the level of gods. If the 5 elders were alive, it would be a major turning point. If the 5 elders die, there will be no hope for the Marine headquarters. No matter life or death. If they are alive, we must find them. If they are dead, we must find their bodies. All soldiers of the Marine headquarters. Rush to the world's holy land, Mary Gosa. Search for the whereabouts of the 5 elders. Gang Gukong gave the order with a gloomy face. Even in such a situation, he still thought of a glimmer of hope. He is indeed Marshal Gang Gukong. He has quite the martial style. Yes. Faced with the order, everyone in the office responded in unison, and the fighting spirit that had been extinguished surged up again. At this moment, the ground suddenly trembled violently, and an invisible shock wave swept across Marineford. The wind howled, the sand danced, the ground was lifted up in an instant, and all the glass was shattered by the shock wave. Even the naval soldiers were bleeding from all 7 orifices. The vice-admirals and generals felt as if their eardrums were about to explode, and they desperately used their own strength to resist. This was just the aftermath, but it caused such terrible damage. It is obvious what the Holy Land of Mary Gosa will become. After the aftermath, Gang Gukong looked towards the direction of the Holy Land Mary Gosa again, and his whole body looked extremely solemn. All over the world, everything is in a state of madness. The meteorite fell and completely crushed the Holy Land. They thought that the 5 elders must have died in this natural disaster. It's destroyed, it's really destroyed. Liu Yun single-handedly destroyed the Holy Land of Mary Gosa. This matter was so unbelievable that they thought they were hallucinating. I'm afraid the 5 elders won't survive this ferocious force. Ha ha ha. The 5 elders are dead. The world will be ruled by us pirates. Ah! Kill the navy. Pirates will dominate. From now on, it will be the era of great pirates. I want to join the Liu Yun pirates. Dominate this world. I am a member of Liu Yun. Get out of here. Suddenly, a huge quarrel erupted in the Sabayati archipelago, mixed with shock, exclamations, excitement, and passion. The Holy Land is destroyed and the government no longer exists. Only the Navy headquarters? What can they do to me? Chapter 75, Fruit of Life? It feels a bit like the tiger is dead and the wolf is now the king. The naval headquarters, the New World, the Sabayati archipelago, and other places were all affected by the shock wave, with huge waves and disasters occurring one after another. The world has fallen into extreme madness. The navy was in a miserable state and panicked to the extreme. Qin Luo stood in the void, side by side with Dao Tu. Qin, are they all dead? For some reason, Dao Tu only called out a surname, which was quite impressive. Is he dead? Qin Luo murmured. He didn't know the situation below. And he didn't have any observation haki. Apart from being able to detect everything in the sea, he was like a blind man on land and had no idea of anything. Qin Luo originally wanted to use air fluctuations to sense everything around him, but the fluctuations caused by the meteorite were too strong and were completely covered up, so this method did not work this time. If you notice it, it is just an extremely tiny spatial fluctuation, just like a spatial transfer. Seeing Qin Luo's uncertain words, Dao Tu hesitated again. To be able to survive such a terrifying impact, what kind of terrifying ability does one have? Are they all dead? Dao Tu's face was pale and he looked much more listless. All. Qin Luo noticed a sensitive word. Yes, if they all died, even those slaves, servants, housekeepers, Tianlong people and 5 elders would all be buried here. Whether good or bad, they are all dead, and what is the difference between Qin Luo and those brutal and bloodthirsty Tianlong people? This is completely contrary to the justice that Dao Tu believes in. This should be the reason why Dao Tu is confused. Don't worry, I will let them come back to life later. They will just die temporarily because, in order to kill all the Tianlong people, this is the only way. Qin Luo could not give the 5 elders time to react, otherwise something strange might happen. He would rather kill them by mistake than let them go. But Qin Luo has a way to revive those dead slaves and servants again. The opportunity to resurrect them is the art of reincarnation. Is that so? Are you lying to me? How can the dead be resurrected? Dao Tu's pretty face was pale, with an indescribable pain and sadness. Do you think I'm lying to you? Qin Luo's eyes were firm. When Dao Tu saw this, she fell into deep thought. Yes, the man in front of him could no longer be described as a human being. He was a god who could go to heaven and earth, call the wind and rain, and was not afraid to go deep into the ocean that those fruit ability users feared. This had long transcended the scope of humans. Yet, rarely, Dao Tu wiped away her tears and believed Qin Luo. Qin, are the Tianlong people and the 5 elders dead? Dao Tu asked again. I don't know about that. I always feel that something is strange, not what I thought. Moreover, there was a space fluctuation just now. At the moment the meteorite fell, they were teleported away. If they were not the 5 elders, they must be the Tianlong people. Or, they are not dead, and the ones who died are only slaves and servants. Qin Luo said calmly. Qin Luo was not afraid even if they all died. He believed that he would rescue them in the future. As long as he could kill the 5 elders and the Tianlong people, it would be a blessing. At the same time, Qin Luo felt that killing the 5 elders in this way was too easy for them. These 5 old immortals should be bullied and then die. For some reason, Qin Luo actually hoped that the 5 elders would not die like this. He came to the Holy Land. First, it was to shock the world, spread the name of Liuyun, shock the world, and make no one dare to touch Fishman Island. Second, he wanted to test the strength of the 5 elders so that he could make a foolproof plan. It was impossible for the 5 elders to kill Qin Luo, and it was also very simple for Qin Luo to kill the 5 elders. However, there was only one thing that worried Qin Luo the most. Before traveling through time, Qin Luo was a senior One Piece fan. He had searched many versions in the past, wanting to know what kind of fruit the 5 elders ate, and even what the blank 800 years ago were about. However, after searching for a long time, there was no official reply. However, after searching, the most popular rumor was that the 5 elders shared the largest devil fruit on the devil fruit tree, and this devil fruit was called the life fruit. After eating it, one can have immortality, and the body will have various mutations. The strength is extremely strong. Even if they die, they can be resurrected again through the power of the fruit. Qin Luo's Chibaku Tensei can definitely kill all 5 of them. If these 5 old men appear again, it is certain that they have eaten the fruit of life. If they die, it can only be blamed on the lack of strength of the 5 elders. Let's go. Qin Luo's eyes were calm. No matter whether the 5 elders were dead or not, there was no loss to him. Now that the government has been destroyed and the Holy Land no longer exists, they will be abused by Qin Luo if they are alive. The only tricky thing is that the 5 elders are not dead. Qin Luo plans to find a targeted method in the future, or suck the life fruits out of the 5 old men and give them to his wives. This method can completely kill the 5 people. As long as there are enough points to redeem, it won't be a problem, so points are still important at the moment. In this way, the wives can continue to live, while the 5 old men without the fruit of life will face death. This is also a question that Qin Luo has been thinking about. It is only a matter of time for him to dominate the world. He can be immortal, but Empress Hancock, Peach Rabbit, Nico Robin and others will grow old and die with time. This is not what Qin Luo wants. Qin Luo's face was as calm as water. He pulled Dao Tu and disappeared into the sky together. Then he ran towards the sea, directly entered the deep sea, and headed towards Dragon Palace City. In Longgong City, there was no news from the outside world at the moment. They were all panicked by the shaking of the earth. The shaking of the meteorite was transmitted to 10,000 meters below, and its power was greatly weakened. Therefore, it was just an earthquake and there were no casualties. King, what on earth is going on? A minister standing on the side asked in surprise. I don't know. It came from above. I'm not sure. This is truly terrifying. Our Dragon Palace City has never experienced such a tremor since its establishment. It's nothing. This kind of fluctuation won't kill anyone. Go and calm the people down and don't let them panic. There must be a problem up there. There will be news soon. Just wait and see. The entire Dragon Palace City is completely unaware of the situation in the outside world. It is isolated to the extreme. This is because they are 10,000 meters deep in the sea, and there are very few pirates who can come here, so the news is inevitably much slower. They didn't know that this vibration was caused by their patron saint Liu Yun. Chapter 76, The Red Cloud Sign of Fishman Island. In Dragon Palace City, King Neptune sat on the throne, giving precise orders to calm the people. Thanks to the king's well-organized plan, no one was injured or killed, only some things in the house were broken. The people's panic calmed down after Neptune's explanation. Just as the king was giving a speech under the attention of the crowd, Qin Luo and Dao Tu entered the Dragon Palace City wearing black cloud robes. No pirate saw the two people, and even if they did, no one could really see their faces because their faces were covered with mysterious energy that no one could see. Ryugu Castle was crowded with people, and everyone gathered in the city. Qin Luo's incredible act of killing the spider pirates with a slap directly frightened all the other pirate groups that were originally making waves in Fishman Island. They were afraid that this man would avenge Fishman Island, so they fled in panic and secretly left Fishman Island. In the entire Fishman Island, there is no outsider except the civilians and people of Fishman Island. At this moment, Qin Luo and Dao Tu appeared above King Neptune's head, immediately attracting a lot of exclamations. Who is that? Hey? Why does he have the Ryuun Pirates logo? And that red cloud and black clothes, wasn't that what our guardian angel just drew a few days ago? What's going on? Why are these two wearing this outfit? Could it be? They are our guardian gods. There were whispers and heated discussions all around, and after realizing that he was surrounded by the people of the island, Qin Luo safely removed the mysterious energy from his face and revealed his face. The tall and majestic figure was extremely tall, and his cold, arrogant and lonely temperament was fully revealed. Oh my god! Our guardian angel! Qin! Guardian god! $1 billion pirate! Our god! So handsome! Our guardian angel is so handsome! The girl is so beautiful too! I'm feeling so inferior! The beauty next to the guardian angel! She's so beautiful! After the mysterious energy was removed, the faces of Qin Luo and Tao Tu appeared in front of all the people of Fishman Island. Fishman Island erupted in a roar like an explosion. That was cheering. Excited. Thrilled. Everyone was thrilled. Although they cheered extremely loudly, Qin Luo could still make out what they were saying. When someone said that he was a billionaire pirate, Qin Luo was stunned. 1 billion, that's actually an underestimate. 1 billion is 1 billion, but if others knew that he had attacked the world government, it would not be just 1 billion. There is an earthquake now, but the fluctuations are very small. You don't have to panic. Nothing will happen. Qin Luo said from a high position. Guardian Angel. God still cares about us. I swear to follow the Guardian Angel until death. Sir. Please let me join Liu Yun. I want to become a great pirate like you. I will follow my lord. Overthrow the government. All the people of Fishman Island were extremely excited, their blood was boiling and their passion was surging. However, Qin Luo smiled calmly and said, live a good life first, then talk about other things. You can't even take care of eating now, how can you follow me to resist the world government? Qin Luo did not reveal his intention to overthrow the world government. If he did, the entire Fishman Island would probably riot. When King Neptune saw Qin Luo coming, he quickly stood up and said, Master Guardian, thank you for your deterrent. Now, except for you, all the pirates on Fishman Island have almost disappeared. You are truly a god. I swear allegiance to you until death. King Neptune looked excited. He had not been so happy for a long time. Being able to live on Fishman Island without war and oppression is the dream that all of them pursue. Unexpectedly, it has been realized in just a few days. All the credit for this goes to the extremely noble guardian deity before us. If anyone dares to insult the guardian deity, Fishman Island will be the first to stand up and resist. Okay. You all go about your own business, don't worry about the earthquake. Qin Luo was just trying to comfort her. After doing all this, he went into the 2 bedrooms with Dao Tu. After Dao Tu lay down, he felt exhausted all over. It was not physical exhaustion, but mental exhaustion. The justice of the navy, the arrogance of the Tianlong people, and Qin Luo's thundering methods. It all kept repeating in her mind. Everything that happened that day was still vivid in her mind. As long as Dao Tu closed her eyes, that vast power and picture would appear clearly in her mind. She was very lost and disappointed, feeling that all these years had been wasted. The justice of the world government and the marine headquarters had completely destroyed everything she had. However, Only after destruction can it be reborn. Peach Rabbit closed his eyes and fell asleep. At the same time, Qin Luo was lying on the bed, in a daze. It didn't matter whether the 5 elders were dead or not. It didn't matter if they were alive, or if they died and were resurrected with the help of the devil fruit. His most urgent task now was to get the devil fruit. Only with the devil fruit could he exchange points and reach the maximum level. Without points, you can't move forward. Apart from the devil fruit, the rest is the sap of the sun tree. But Qin Luo has already taken half of it. Does he have to exchange it with Bailey? Qin Luo didn't want to do that for the time being. He wanted to use Bailey to buy more devil fruits. At the same time, he wanted to get the remaining 6 months of Yangsha sap 663. The only problem that bothers Qin Luo is the livelihood of Fishman Island. He must ensure the safe operation of Fishman Island while obtaining the sap of the Yang tree. The problem, that is Bailey, is money. Fishman Island is located 10,000 meters below the sea. How can it obtain economic resources? There is no other way except to go to the outside world, and going to the outside world takes an extremely long time. Moreover, the only way to go up is Fishman Island. It is extremely difficult for pirates to come down. The transportation is not convenient, and trade will be much slower. If trade is slow, Bailey will not be enough. There is only one thing that confuses Qin Luo now, and that is the traffic problem. In the real world, for 2 places to be prosperous, they must at least have developed transportation. This is an eternal truth. Have it. After pondering for a moment, Qin Luo suddenly thought of a solution. He took out the blueprint and started designing. This was not a simple project. Although he was the overlord of the sea, it still took some time. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Qin Luo stayed in the room for 4 whole days. At the same time, a pirate group entered the deep sea to avoid the disaster and headed towards Fishman Island. When they saw the eye-catching red cloud logo of Fishman Island, they were all dumbfounded and terrified. Chapter 77, If you dare to kill one person, I will destroy your entire pirate group. Captain! Look what that sign is. Logo. The captain of the robo-pirates heard this and looked in the direction his subordinate pointed. There was a striking, huge, and shocking symbol in the sky above Fishman Island. It was a red cloud, exactly the same shape as the red cloud on the clothes of the man who destroyed the world government. It looks exactly like the meteorite that blocked out the sky. Isn't this the logo on the clothes worn by the god Liu Yun? How could it appear on this Fishman Island? The captain was stunned and shocked. Captain, this kind of sign is hanging over the Fishman Island. It must be the god Liu Yun protecting this island. This is the territory protected by the god Liu Yun, the pirate said nervously. What? Liu Yun? Why would he protect Fishman Island? What the hell? What's going on? The mysterious god of flowing clouds is actually on this Fishman Island. This is big news. Absolutely explosive. Fishman Island has found a powerful partner. No one will dare to mess with Fishman Island from now on. The entire pirate group was in heated discussion, looking at the glaring sign above Fishman Island in shock. Seeing Hong Yun, everyone couldn't help but think of the man's invincible appearance a few days ago. The island is protected by the pirate group whose flag is flying on it. Anyone who dares to occupy it will indirectly declare war on the pirate group behind the island. Therefore, this sign is a warning. A threat. This is the territory of the god Liu Yun. Liu Yun attacked the world government with one move, killed the 5 elders, and suppressed the 4 seats with his tyrannical and domineering power. People all over the world witnessed it with their own eyes. Who would dare to provoke such an invincible figure? Even if the robo-pirates were given hundreds or thousands of guts, they wouldn't dare to touch Fishman Island at all. Because, there are flowing clouds protecting this place. Captain! What should we do? A pirate trembled and was a little afraid. What should I do? What the hell can I do? Are you going to let me die? The captain cursed and roared, everyone, return to the original route. You must not enter Fishman Island. A few days later. The news that Fishman Island was blessed by the god Liu Yun was like a storm, sweeping the entire world in an instant, and many pirates wanted to witness the truth of the matter with their own eyes. Some pirates who worshipped Liu Yun even fearlessly went out to sea from Shampoo and head towards Fishman Island. In just a few days, no less than hundreds of pirate ships entered the area near Fishman Island. But none of the pirates dared to rush in rashly, and they just watched from afar outside Fishman Island. Captain! It really is the red cloud symbol. Could it be? Is this true? Liu Yun is really here. Since there is a red cloud symbol, the cloud god must have been here. Can I go in? I really want to see the flowing cloud god with my own eyes. Countless pirates were howling, wishing they could break in right now, even at the cost of death. They just wanted to see Liu Yun. Dragon Palace City. King. The area surrounding Fishman Island is completely filled with pirate ships. There are at least hundreds of them. They appeared all around Fishman Island at the same time and have now surrounded the entire island. A soldier swam hurriedly to the palace and reported. What? The entire Fishman Island was surrounded? How many ships? King Neptune was shocked, his pupils widened. More than 300 ships. The soldier just gave a rough number. Upon hearing this, King Neptune took a deep breath and was extremely frightened. 300 warships can definitely blow the entire Fishman Island into pieces. Go. Report this to God. King Neptune gave the order, but felt it was a bit presumptuous, so he immediately stopped the soldier and said, "You don't have to go, I will go myself. This matter is serious, gather all the soldiers of Fishman Island. This may be a life and death battle." King Neptune's face was solemn. Although the bounty on their patron saint is as high as 1 billion berries, even the most powerful person would be afraid when facing pirates with 300 ships, right? King Neptune hurried to where Qin Luo lived and wanted to knock on the door, but before he could do anything, the door opened automatically. God! The first thing King Neptune did when he came in was to cry out. At this moment, Qin Luo raised his hand and signaled the king not to speak, while Qin Luo was thinking seriously, looking at the drawings. After a few seconds, he gently put down the last stroke, then nodded with satisfaction. Finally, he glanced at Neptune and said, "I know why you are here. Don't worry. Among the 300 pirate ships, not one dares to touch you. If there is one, I will destroy it." Qin Luo spoke calmly, and then they left Dragon Palace City together. In order to avoid being seen, Qin Luo exchanged another 1,000 points to cover his face. Hong Yun was wearing black clothes, his style was changing, and a cold and murderous aura burst out from Qin Luo. That temperament is like that of a proud king, looking down on everything. In an instant, Qin Luo stood above the Fishman Island, dazzling and eye-catching. At this moment, all the people on the pirate ship were attracted by that familiar figure. God! Is this really a god? Liu Yun! Our god! We come to you! Please let me join your pirate group! God! Suddenly, fierce roars broke out all around, and the pirates were like being injected with chicken blood, their blood boiling. Seeing the god in their hearts makes their lives worthwhile. With his own strength, he overthrew the world government, and a meteorite bombarded the holy land of Mary Gosa, smashing the world government into pieces in an instant. This invincible posture made countless pirates excited. Facing such fierce shouts, Qin Luo stood in the void with an indifferent expression and said, "You can enter Fishman Island, but I will not let you join Liu Yun. After entering Fishman Island, you can visit and consume on your own. If you dare to kill anyone on Fishman Island, I will destroy your entire pirate group." Qin Luo's voice was cold and superior, with an aura of majesty without anger, which immediately stunned everyone. "God, let us in. Is this an agreement? Even if I can't enter the flowing cloud, it's worth it just to be able to be in close contact with God. God! I want to live on an island with God. Let me go first. Everyone, get out of my way." As the 300 ships were arguing fiercely, Qin Luo ignored them and looked towards the top of Fishman Island. In a flash, Qin Luo appeared a few hundred meters away from Fishman Island. Suddenly, his whole body shook. And an extremely surging energy wave burst out from his right hand. "Overlord of the Sea! God's barrier!" Qin Luo roared, directly stunning all the members on the pirate ship. On the 300 pirate ships, everyone turned their eyes to the figure in the red cloud and black robe. Not sure why? Recommend a new book to a friend, a cool book from an old author of Super Time and Space Contract Network, his character is guaranteed. Chapter 78, God's Barrier. Qin Luo has reached the maximum level of Sea Overlord and can control the sea water at will, so at a depth of 10,000 meters in the deep sea, he began to make bold guesses in his mind. Boom! Suddenly, with Qin Luo's loud shout, a violent energy suddenly fluctuated rapidly in the originally quiet deep sea. Qin Luo's eyes were burning, and the repulsive force in his hands continued to burst out, roaring and shaking. In the silent deep sea, all the pirate group stared at the god Liu Yun in amazement, as if he was going to blow the entire Fishman Island away. A tremendous force rushed out from Qin Luo's body, and the surrounding ocean currents suddenly collided violently. An invisible wave swept out from the deep sea to the surroundings. Boom! The huge impact force was comparable to a tsunami of several hundred meters, and all the pirate ships standing on the periphery were washed away. At the same time, above the sea level with Fishman Island, a piece of open space strangely appeared where Qin Luo was standing. As Qin Luo's repulsive force increased, all the sea water from all directions was squeezed out by Qin Luo, causing the deep sea basin to shake, and the open space, under Qin Luo's control, became larger and larger. A large gap with a diameter of 400 to 500 meters appeared. Qin Luo nodded with satisfaction, then raised his hands, and the repulsive force increased 1,000 times. Buzz buzz! Fishman Island was shaking violently, and the pirate ships were torn into pieces by the huge waves, and were about to explode. Damn it! What on earth does he want to do? Captain! The membrane can't hold up. It's about to burst. Are we going to perish here? I won't accept this. Boom! Fishman Island shook violently, and all the mermaids and fishmen rushed out to seek refuge, and the pirate ships were also forced to rush out. Everyone watched the man in red clouds and black robes with trepidation. His world-destroying power was terrifying. A sense of despair and uneasiness rose in everyone's heart. What the hell is going on? What the hell is God doing? Didn't he say he wouldn't kill us? Is he going back on his word? Does he want to kill us all? It's over. We are dead this time, the pirate said in horror. Run! Turn around quickly! Get out! Page 42. Too late. Captain! There's not enough air in the membrane for us to return safely. Ah! I don't want to die yet. There were 300 pirate ships, and everyone on board was in a panic, looking terrified. They are like ants on a hot pan, frantically trying to think of a solution. Boom! An extremely powerful shockwave swept out from Qin Luo's body, instantly shattering the coating on the pirate ship. A large amount of seawater rushed in and slammed heavily on the deck. What? God! Save us! I don't want to die yet! The miserable howls were heard continuously. 300 ships, all the membranes were broken. Qin Luo raised his eyelids and asked the system, protect all their ships. Ding di, the host can buy a coating. The price of one layer of coating is 5 points. 5 points? Qin Luo pondered. 5 points for one ship, and 300 ships would require 1500 points. But being able to protect them, it seemed like a loss, but in fact it was a profit. If these 300 ships were allowed to go on board, it would be free publicity. By then, I'm afraid there will be more pirate ships coming here. As long as they are willing to come to Fishman Island, Bailey will get as much as he wants, and Qin Luo can pocket all the remaining 6 months of Yangsha sap. Exchange. Without hesitation, Qin Luo spoke directly. Ding, exchange successful, exchange for 300 layers of coating. With the 300 layers of coating in his pocket, Qin Luo simply waved his hand towards the 300 pirate ships, and the 300 layers of coating flew out. The things exchanged by the system were very spiritual. In the blink of an eye, the ships that were struggling in despair and washed by the sea water were all wrapped in a layer of coating, and the coating was smooth, bright and indestructible. Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough. Hoop whoosh. Countless pirates were soaked in water and gasping for breath. In the sea, those with special abilities became landlubbers. If no one rescued them, they would all be buried here, and their bodies would become food for fish. Fortunately, Qin Luo is not a ruthless person. The pirates' faces and eyes were red. Holding their breath underwater was extremely painful and unbearable. If they had been a few minutes later, they would definitely have died. When they regained consciousness, they looked around in horror and discovered that the broken coating had strangely wrapped around the pirate ship again, saving their lives. How is that possible? The membrane was clearly broken just now. Who got the membrane? Who has this kind of means? Besides the coating craftsman on the Sabayati archipelago, who else could? There's no such thing as a film coating craftsman here. Who is that? Could it be God? Suddenly, an uncertain voice was heard. God? You said it was Lu Yun. That must be it. It must be the god of flowing clouds. Only a god could have such a method. All the pirate ships looked up and saw Qin Luo staring at them. All the members immediately shouted excitedly, God! Thank you for saving us. God! Thank you. I'm so touched. God would actually save people like us who have no power. This is justice. This is true justice. I want to follow God. I want to become a member of the Ryuhyun Pirates. You're dreaming. It's okay to dream of joining the Ryuhyun Pirates. Quiet. Qin Luo frowned slightly. These pirate groups talked too much nonsense, which made Qin Luo speechless. With a shout, the surroundings fell into complete silence. Some people in the pirate group covered their mouths in the middle of their sentences and obeyed obediently. For a moment, the surroundings were quiet, and Qin Luo's hands exploded with repulsive force, 10,000 times the repulsive force. Then, a white dragon roared out from his hands and swept directly upwards. The enormous driving force made the dragon invincible and rushed forward unstoppable. In the sky, a huge cylindrical shape with a diameter of 400 to 500 meters was directly opened up by the body of the dragon. System, exchange for a barrier to block the seawater from rushing in from all directions. Ding, 100 meters, 10 points, now it's 10,000 meters in the deep sea. Host, do you want to redeem it? Exchange. Qin Luo gritted his teeth and made a major decision. Immediately, a dense layer of transparent barriers suddenly formed around the space with a diameter of 400 to 500 meters that was opened up by the dragon. This barrier was extremely strong and hard. Even under the huge pressure of the ocean, it was still as strong as before. Chapter 79, The Great Channel of the World. The dragon's momentum did not diminish at all, and Qin Luo's repulsive force exploded to 10,000 times. Suddenly, the surrounding sea water was squeezed away by the terrifying force, and Dragon King City trembled violently. A large amount of sea water was pushed out and rushed upwards in all directions. The sea roared and the earth shook. The sea kings that were hundreds of meters long were ruthlessly pushed away. In the face of absolute power, they were vulnerable. The repulsive force is 10,000 times greater and endless. 10,000 meters above Qin Luo, there is an island. Suddenly, the mountains collapsed and the earth cracked, the sun and the moon lost their light, and the sea was instantly raised dozens of times. This island was like a cork, completely blocking the sea water and repulsive force below. The island is shaking, the earth is cracking, and the earthquake is getting stronger and more crazy. When it reached the end, there was a loud bang, and the entire island was directly rushed into the sky by the strong repulsive force and the earth-shaking sea water, and rushed to a position several thousand meters in the sky. In the end, the entire island was reduced to pieces. Where the island had once been, a circular pit with a diameter of 500 meters appeared. The pit was bottomless, and strangely, the surrounding sea water had not filled in. Because there is a real protective shield around the circular pit. Shamboard Islands. The world government was destroyed overnight, which was a fatal blow to them. According to the order of Marshal Konggu, all the soldiers of the navy branches gathered together. Just when the navy was gathering frantically, the Sabayati archipelago shook terribly again. What happened? Earthquake? What's going on? The pirates and navy were all stunned, not understanding what was going on. Look! Up in the sky. What are you looking at? Countless people looked up at the sky with hesitation and no interest in their eyes. At this moment, a massive 500-meter-high water column lifted an island directly into the sky, breaking through the horizon. It was rapidly rising. The sound was so powerful that it shook the heavens and the earth. Everyone was stunned, and the originally bored pirates also widened their eyes in horror, their eyes full of disbelief. How is this possible? The island was washed up into the sky. Is there a volcano under the island? You're such an idiot. There's an ocean under the island. Where did the volcano come from? Idiot. Even a volcano erupting produces lava. Besides water, what else did you see? How strange. What on earth is going on? Just as everyone was surprised, the earth shook again. With a loud bang, the huge sound penetrated the entire Sabayati archipelago. Then, another column of water shot up into the sky. The momentum was overwhelming, awe-inspiring. Like 1,000 horses galloping, the entire ocean was turned upside down. Everyone was amazed. The scene that overturned the holy land of Mary Gosa 10 days ago is still vivid in our minds, and now such a strange phenomenon has appeared again. Looking at the two 10,000-meter-high water columns in the sky that were responding to each other, they shrank their necks in fear. Such a terrifying force is enough to smash them into pieces. What is going on? Fuck. Shit, I'm lucky I didn't go into the sea. If I had, wouldn't I have been washed up like an idiot? Isn't that the only way to enter Fishman Island? Damn it. It's a good thing that the coating worker's wife ran off with someone, so the coating wasn't completed. Otherwise, I would have died today. Captain. The coating is complete. Are you still going to Fishman Island? Are you still going to see the god Liu Yun? Upon hearing this, the captain slapped him in the face. What the hell? Didn't you see two giant pillars appear? Do you want me to be swallowed by the sea? Hey, look! There are two rough rifts in the sea. I don't know who said it, but everyone raised their eyes and looked over. On the boundless sea, two huge cylindrical holes with a diameter of 500 meters appeared strangely. The holes were pitch black and seemed to be bottomless, but the sea water strangely did not fill them up, as if something was blocking them. How is this going? Damn, there's such a phenomenon. Damn, this is really eye-opening for me. The Chagos archipelago was in a heated discussion, while Qin Luo, who was deep underground, had a deep look in his eyes. Two passages are now completely connected, one exit and one entrance, both going straight up and down. You can directly enter Fishman Island from the Sabayati archipelago without being swallowed by the sea, without fear of being bitten by sea kings, and without worrying about the membrane shattering. This is definitely a safe passage. If coating sails from the Sabayati archipelago to Fishman Island, it will take about 10 days. However, entering through this entrance will greatly shorten the time. It will take about a day. Qin Luo used 1,000 points to exchange for 2 repulsion devices, which he installed at the bottom of the 2 huge cylinders. He also added a channel at the bottom of the cylinders to connect the 2 bottoms. From a distance, it looked like a U-shaped bottle. The only difference was that the 2 bottom sections were straight up and down, not tortuous. Qin Luo placed the repulsion device at the bottom of 2 10,000-meter-high cylindrical channels, and the repulsion was completely different. The channel on the left is the channel from the Sabayati archipelago to Fishman Island. It goes directly along the sea to the channel, and there is repulsion on both sides of the channel. Therefore, the ship will not collide with the cylindrical wall at all. It can fall down quickly under the attraction of the Earth's gravity and perform free fall. When it is about to reach Fishman Island, the repulsion device installed by Qin Luo will completely offset the Earth's gravity on the ship, and then make the ship move slowly, and finally stop the ship. At this time, it happens to enter the bottom. And then the driving force on both sides of the bottom layer of the cylinder can push the ship to a safe area, and then enter Fishman Island. If you leave Fishman Island and enter the Sabayati archipelago, you will choose another passage. Of course, this series of operations requires Qin Luo to calculate personally, and there cannot be any mistakes. Seeing the 2 huge passages running through the world and Fishman Island, Qin Luo nodded with satisfaction. These days have finally not been wasted. With developed transportation, Fishman Island will have an absolute advantage in starting trade exchanges in the future. And with money, the people of Fishman Island can survive. Therefore, the sap of the yang tree will be enjoyed entirely by Qin Luo alone. Chapter 83 Rules. Violators will be severely punished. After doing all this, Qin Luo slowly stopped and was very satisfied with his work. After planning for a few days, it finally took shape. It all depended on how to manage it in the future. At this moment, Qin Luo stood in the void, controlling the sea water to transmit his voice, and said to all the people of Fishman Island, "From now on, all of you can only call me Liu Yun. Forget my previous name. Also, no one is allowed to mention it in front of non-Fishman Icelanders. If anyone says it, I will kill him." The sound was transmitted through the sea water and reached the ears of the people of Fishman Island, but no one on the 300 pirate ships heard it. This is also to avoid trouble. Just having a Liu Yun is enough. As for the name Qin Luo, he does not intend to make it public. It is better to conceal this identity for the time being. Upon hearing this, all the people of Fishman Island looked at each other, and finally nodded in agreement. Seeing that the people of Fishman Island agreed, Qin Luo turned his gaze to the pirates on the 300 pirate ships. "You can come in, but you are not allowed to cause trouble on Fishman Island, otherwise, I will wipe you all out." Qin Luo's tone was indifferent and extremely majestic. After hearing this, the pirates nodded obediently and agreed as well. Then Qin Luo waved his hand, and an unspeakable terrifying energy attached to the 300 pirate ships. The captains and crew members stared at the incredible operation of the god of Liuyun in amazement. Taking 300 pirate ships with bare hands. Fuck, Liuyun is so terrifying. His strength must be above that of a marshal. The marshal is nothing. Even the 5 elders were killed. The power of the flowing cloud god must be incredible. You know nothing. What are the 5 elders? No matter how terrifying they are just humans at best. But Liuyun is a god. The terrifying god of flowing clouds, I worship you. 300 pirate ships quickly entered the area of Fishman Island right under the noses of the residents of Fishman Island. The hull stopped at the periphery, and the pirates on it howled and roared excitedly. When the people of Fishman Island saw this, some children shrank their heads in fear. They had seen too many ferocious pirate groups whose strength was simply terrifying, and the fear from the soul could not be erased overnight. However, Qin Luo was not afraid. Since he used the identity of Liuyun to warn the pirates, who would dare to be so presumptuous unless they were willing to risk their lives and cause trouble on Fishman Island? Qin Luo believed not. After arriving on the island, everyone stood on the outskirts of Fishman Island. The ships had already docked, so densely packed that it looked like a dock in the middle of the sea. Stop! Qin Luo stood above Fishman Island. He wanted to give a warning to all the pirates. God! Some pirates were howling excitedly, but suddenly stopped and their expressions changed. God? What's wrong? You're not going to regret it, are you? Liuyun God! What are you going to do? Do you want me to join the Liuyun pirates? I can tell you right now, I fully support you. I'd even give you a back massage in the Liuyun pirates. Some pirates looked solemn, while others were heartless. Everyone was guessing what Liuyun wanted to say. Now that we are entering Fishman Island, I will set some rules for you. This is not a vegetable market. If you want to destroy it, I will punish you. You can turn a deaf ear to what I say, but you will also pay a heavy price for it. Qin Luo spoke calmly, then raised his right hand slightly, and golden rays of light condensed in the air. With a flash of golden light, Qin Luo took another huge stone from the void and established 3 rules on it. First, as long as you are on Fishman Island, do not cause trouble. If you are caught, you will be severely punished. Second, outsiders are not to discriminate against the residents of Fishman Island. Those caught will be severely punished. Third, if you dare to kidnap the people of Fishman Island, you will be brutally killed by Liuyun. Golden light flashed, and 3 rules appeared clearly on the boulder. Then Qin Luo raised his hand, lifted the boulder, and placed it in the most conspicuous place on Fishman Island. As long as you come to Fishman Island, you will definitely see these 3 iron laws. In this way, Qin Luo wanted to protect the safety of the people of Fishman Island, so that outsiders could only play and consume on the island to provide livelihood for Fishman Island, while Qin Luo took away all the sap of the yang tree. After doing all this, Qin Luo released 10 of the 20 Tianlong people he had captured in the Holy Land in full view of everyone. In a flash, 10 celestial dragons appeared in front of everyone in an extremely embarrassed manner. Neptune! Tie up these 10 celestial dragons on Fishman Island and let the world spit on them. Remember, don't kill them and let them suffer humiliation all day long. Qin Luo hated the celestial dragons, and killing them would be too easy for them. They are evil to the core. The pain they have brought upon the world must be repaid with interest. The appearance of the 10 celestial dragons immediately alarmed all the pirates. What the hell? What did I see? A celestial dragon. How could he be captured by the flowing cloud god? And it seems he was tortured miserably. Awesome! Flowing cloud god dares to capture the celestial dragons. How presumptuous! Isn't he afraid of being punished by the 5 elders? Ugh! Where are the 5 elders? Damn it! My brain is short-circuiting. Ha ha ha! I never thought that the extremely evil and arrogant celestial dragons would suffer such an experience. 0. Weren't you always so awesome? How did you end up like this? Lord Liuyun, we can't cause trouble on Fishman Island, so can we fight the celestial dragons? Of course, we won't kill them, we'll just stretch their muscles. Just as the pirates' eyes were shining with gold, the 10 celestial dragons suddenly recovered. When they saw that they were tied up, they became furious. Damn it! You dog slaves! Who gave you the guts to kidnap a great celestial dragon? Aren't you afraid of being exterminated? Asshole! How dare you kidnap me? Let me go! I'm going to shoot you to death! Damn it! Who hit me? I'm going to make you pay with your lives! All the Tianlong people woke up from their coma, and the first thing they did after waking up was to bite people everywhere like mad dogs and threaten everyone. This is the inherent arrogance of the celestial dragons. Even when they are kidnapped, they still maintain an arrogant attitude. They have the world government behind them. They have powerful capital, but now... Ha ha ha! What did I hear? He actually wants to wipe out our entire clan. He even said he was going to beat me to death. It really made me laugh to death. You're asking us to pay with our lives, are you worthy? The world government has been destroyed, and the support behind the celestial dragons has also collapsed. That's why the pirates are so unscrupulous. But these celestial dragons don't know that the world government has been destroyed. End of the chapter. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.